morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's Monday. It's Monday. Good morning, film. Good morning, Baka. Hey, therapist. It's Monday, a messy Monday at that, right? How was everybody's weekend? Oh, it ain't. Well, thank you. It's nothing really new. It's so funny. Hey, good morning. I think because my thing usually be like in a circle. Manic Monday, right? Woo. We shall see. We shall definitely see. Yeah, I don't know what this. It's like it's been changed all my little settings here. As I can see, my thing is purple, blue, yellow. I don't know what's going on. Oh well, we shall deal. It'll all work out. So how was everybody's weekend? Well, what did I do this weekend? Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. I didn't do anything. I gotta stop having nothing weekends. Look, nothing weekends, right? I gotta find some better stuff to do. Like, and then during the week when we're streaming, that's when I want to do everything. Hey, Irish, good morning. Thank you. Thank you. I was like, oh, what should I put on? You know, I love dresses. So anytime I can put on a dress, I am so happy to jump into it. You was hot this weekend. It was hot film. Anytime that I can put on a dress, I'm throwing on a dress. But now I think that's because I didn't got lazy. Like if I don't have to pick out a shirt and some pants or a shirt and a skirt, and I can just put on a dress and it's all in one, give it to me. Look, look, give it to me. That way I ain't gotta do no thinking, no nothing. Hey Jason, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, yeah. Anytime I can put on a dress, I'm like, let me put on my dress. That way I ain't gotta worry about putting on no top. I ain't gotta worry about finding no pants. It's an all-in-one outfit. Hmm. I'll take it. I ain't gotta do no thought thinking about it. Just accessorize it, right? I tell you. So, it's so funny. So over the weekend, I was able to I did get in the Ksoo trial that we're covering this morning. I was able to get the officer's testimony, from day 2 when they had that debacle with showing the jury's face and everybody had to take everything down. I was able to get that testimony. So at some point in time, we'll work that into listening to it. And I only say we should listen to it because in his testimony, they actually kind of got him caught up in regards to this height thing. And if y'all remember, as we're following this trial, a lot of the discrepancies is in regards to the height of the individual that was running through the parking lot and also the person that they're claiming to be the shooter, right? So I think they're basing a lot of things on height. So they kind of caught the officer who did the original chase in some discrepancies in regards to the height thing, right? And it's so funny that we missed that testimony that when they, because they talk about the rap lyrics, right? I noticed that, our girl, I can't even remember her name, but our rough prosecutor, our gang, I don't want to call her the gangster defense lady, because she be up there and be, straight up with it, right? Hey, Moki, good morning. Good morning. You moving in? That's what we want you to do, Irish. That's right. Kick up your feet, right? Welcome to Mi Casa. Mi Casa is su casa, right? So I say all that to say, when she got up there, it's so funny because we missed this testimony, right? But I'm trying to get together because I would love for y'all. I did hear the 911 call when it was originally made, when the young boy was unalive, right? The temp agency called 911. I did get to hear the one defense attorney. She compared this rap beef, remember, because they saying that they got dissed in the song, and so that's why they came back, why they all were mad at each other, and how this unaliving event occurred. So she was saying she brought up Drake and what is his name? Kendrick Lamar. And I was like, really? She comparing their rap beef to that rap beef. Their rap beef did not end up in somebody unaliving each other. And for her to try to say that, she like, yeah, because these type of battles in rap battles, they can lead you to be in the Super Bowl, have you go number one, like almost like condoning it. Hey, Libby 22, how are you? How was the weekend? Hey, Jason. Good morning. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, so I say all of that to say that Jason been up in here. Look, I'm saying good morning again. Like I'm just reading down the chat. But hey, ain't nothing wrong with two good mornings, right? Yeah, so I'm trying to piece together a good way of presenting. I do have the whole officer's testimony, but I just really think it's beneficial for us to listen to the rest of the stuff that we did not hear on the day. And I was just hoping that First Coast was gonna post it, but they didn't. Law and Crime did post the 1 hour video of the officer's testimony. So we'll try to get to that so y'all can kind of like hear how he got caught up in regards to this height thing. So as we're going along in this trial, we can kind of like keep in context of everything that's going on. So we can kind of determine from each jury side, because remember we're dealing with two juries, from each jury side what evidence they have to look at. And it is you thought it was two Jasons in here. No, you only Jason. You the one and only. All the rest don't matter. It's just you. So when we're looking at that, when we're reviewing the testimony and things like, is the prosecution going to be able to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt? And I'm assuming today we'll have snitch number 2 up there, which is the stepdad, dad, whatever you want to call him. So it's to my understanding that at one point in time, he did provide a statement. I do have his interrogation video. He did provide a statement, but I also heard that he recanted his statement. And I heard that they're going to be kind of using his statement to probably impeach him. So we'll see if that happens. I do know with our last snitch, Butter, from last week, from Friday, it was so funny because I almost thought that they was going to have to use his interrogation video, to try to impeach him or anything, when he was giving his statement. But I mean, he was such a professional snitch. I mean, like he was certified, like he had done these things before, like nobody's safe in his room. He telling on everybody. And these are the worst kind of, these are the people that I don't really agree with them giving deals to, right? Because we all know that he has admitted to 2 unalivings, right? So he's guilty of 2 unalivings, and we're gonna give him a plea deal so we can put somebody else in custody or prison, but let him out. Like, nah, it seemed like he feels that he can go out here and do dirt, and as long as he knows somebody else who did some dirt, he can get off with his dirt. And I really find that very disturbing, right? Hey, sweetie, do we have any pictures of the major players? Because 2 juries, 2 defenses, nicknames, and real names. I'm confused on who is who. I know, right? We're gonna have to do a break it down. Did you hear about Miss Nicholas receiving a death threat after she gave her victim statement? No, no, I didn't, film. Who would want to threaten her after what he did? Oh, Moki, is that what happened? Because I couldn't find anything where they were live streaming it. Okay, so that must have been what happened, because I was like, I don't see anything on it when I seen the case, but I couldn't see anything on it. Wow. Like, who would want to threaten her after all the things that he was accused of? And so what that she made that statement? Wow. Like, the nerve of you. Like, really? That's what we doing here? Okay. Okay, Moki. Yeah, I was looking Friday, and I was like, well, I don't see it when we were talking. And I was like, well, that's okay. We got this trial and the next trial. And I said, well, maybe it's gonna be shown on local TV. And then I know that Law and Crime, sometimes they put their notifications up there pretty late, because this current trial that we're watching right now, the Ksoo trial, it was not originally on there. Oh, he thought that BK was innocent. Yeah. Like, when I watched the Peacock special, they said he has to be the most unlucky person on the face of the earth with all the evidence that they have against him. Oh, let me put the chat thing on the screen for y'all while I'm thinking about it. You got that right, Libby. Professional snitches and professional idiots. That's my thought. Yeah, so today, yeah, just like what Jason was saying, we are gonna do like a breakdown, because with all of this stuff and these nicknames, these Hakeems, Raheems, Taheems, Tutu, Toto, Queso, Butter, I'm like, what in the what? We gonna have to do a diagram. I'm gonna make us a diagram so we can keep up with these people. You absolutely right, Jason. Because when I be hearing all the stuff, and it's like, this is one of these trials where you almost have to re-listen to the testimony to kind of like connect the dots. But tonight, I'm gonna make us a diagram. That way, we can know whose nickname and who is attached to who. Because I am so confused. Then we got the dad. He Abdul. He Kareem. He Blue on the side. I'm I was listening like, okay. Good morning, Benny. Yeah, I was kind of like listening like, I don't know. Who that? Who that? Yeah. So I'll put a diagram together, and we're gonna put some seniors, junior. I'm telling you, the whole family. The whole family, like the whole family involved. Jason, I am going to figure it out, and I'm gonna put a diagram together, and we gonna have to have testimony, diagram, and then I'll have my little photo on the side. That way we can keep up with all this crap, right? I didn't think about that over the weekend when I was confused, but since y'all in the same position as me, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get that right together for you. That way we can keep track of this, right? Because we don't want to be lost. Because you could imagine. Now, think if we are confused, and I'm not saying that the jury, they probably confused too. I ain't even gonna put it, I ain't even gonna hold you. They probably confused too. Like they better wrap this up real nice and sweet. Yeah, because it was like I did hear like the testimony, and like I am gonna get it. And I don't know if y'all caught it because I re-listened to a lot of the testimony and was able to see how the defense is really like trying to poke holes in different parts of people's stories. So, like, say for instance, when we listened to the girl who went and picked him up from the apartment building, the girlfriend, when she testified, the defense was like, well, you went and picked him up, the so-called person that unalived somebody. But in the same token, the guy that she's currently married to is currently sitting behind bars. She didn't come forward to 2022. It appears that she did not come forward until after her husband, boo thing, whatever he is, got locked up, right? So there it appears that she may be providing this information so her husband can get a deal. You say you were so lost with the YSL trial. Yeah, that was some kind of special. You say you would be totally lost, Iris. Yeah, and that's why I say, in the beginning they did have a diagram. And like I said, I'm gonna make us one because it's very clear. And like I said, I'm gonna figure out how to present it up here, be able to share so we can try to, or we'll flip back and forth as they say in people names once I get the diagram. So we can kind of see how everything connects to everything as we're going through the testimony. Because yeah, it is getting quite ridiculous. Right. So we will definitely go into that. Yeah, because I started to do the stream, like started like an hour early. Like I was gonna start it at 5, right? My time. So we can look at the testimonies that I did see over the weekend. I was like, I don't know if I can get up at 5. That might be faking it. Look, that might be that mean I gotta get up at 3. I know, Jason. We'll just say they need t-shirts. The names must be put on your t-shirt so we can understand what is going on. I'm telling you, he said it was a yes, everybody related to everybody. You said thank goodness he pled guilty. You wasn't going to watch his trial. I know I probably would have watched that one. Only because I want to hear. Do anybody even know in the BK trial, in the BK situation? Did the prosecutors ever say what the motive was or anything? I would have liked to hear more what I mean, not to say that he was gonna say anything, but the who, what, when, where, and why. Well, we know the when and the where. I guess the who, we know the who. The why. There we go. I want to know the why. You say too much. Hey, Gloria. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, yeah, therapist. And see, that's what I want to know. Like, Was he the person that was originally stalking the girl, where she declined his offer, or how did that all come about? I don't know. Or was he just like, I don't want to say a creep. Yeah, I guess, a creep. Like what she said, like you walked into their house like a pedophile thief for the night. I don't know, Irish. We can kind of look at them once they release them. Mm, get away with it. Interesting, because I know he was reading a lot of stuff. Okay, and taking those classes. So maybe so. Yeah, and it seems like that's what the family wanted too. A lot of people wanted him to tell why. Like they wanted, at least some of the family members, they wanted intricate details, like to find out exactly what was going on. So, hmm, mm, yeah, I mean, I think I like hearing some of the, especially how he made it off all the way from the first floor up to the second floor, past bedrooms. Like nobody screamed, nobody yelled. It just seemed weird to me. Yeah, right, Jason. Like we probably wouldn't understand it either way. Like it just wouldn't make sense to us. But I know it's like the burning thing that people want to know, because no matter what the reason is, it's not a good reason, right? At least in our eyes. Yeah, like we could ever hear the why and be satisfied with it. No, because we gonna criticize at the end, right? And the why is just not gonna be good enough. Yeah, because there's no reason behind something like that, right? Not that I could tell. Yeah, so let's see what we have here. I'm just checking on the courtroom. After that mess that they did last week, like this is one trial where I'm so scared not to be in the courtroom because there's only so many YouTubers that were able to catch that feed from Tuesday morning. So a lot of people don't have the complete, they don't have the complete, excuse me, they don't have the complete testimony, right? From Tuesday. And I thought that was very important testimony. The parts that I heard, I just don't know what parts I can use because some of it is not from Court TV, it's from other YouTubers. So I'm trying to figure out how I can work around that, even asking permission from another YouTuber to kind of use it. So we'll see how that goes, because I would like to bring that to y'all. If not, then I'm gonna have to take very good notes and bring it back to you to show you what I thought out of the testimony that we did not see. Because um even with the lady that they entered her house, we didn't hear that testimony. We didn't hear her 911 call. The 911 call that was originally made. I got the police officer's testimony, so that's good. Just give credit when you use someone's feed. That is not okay. Yeah, I'll look and see if they have a contact email. I just wasn't sure how that worked. And I was like, I don't want to step on nobody's toes, but it's also like a good, because if I'm streaming it, they'll get whatever. off they stream, right? Hey, Jody. Good morning. Okay, just get a other channel credit when using their video. Yeah, fair use. Okay, well that's good to know because I definitely want y'all to see it. And they just said make it, I just like, I'm new to the game. I don't mind collaborating with any of them because they all bigger YouTubers than me, right? Thank you, Libby girl. I appreciate it. Check it, check it, check it. Got it. I'm gonna give a slow one this morning, until the cheer dance time start. Hey, thank you, thank you, thank you. Absolutely. It's definitely my pleasure. I just appreciate everybody that comes and hangs out with us. And, even if you're not like actively in the chat and you just listening and, you know, supporting the channel, I truly, 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 truly appreciate it. So, and no matter what shape, form, or fashion, because it only works like that, right? And with our great mods keeping us safe from all the dangers. Because I wouldn't be surprised. Thank you, Jody. I would not be surprised, y'all, when we get over to the Ali trial today for jury instructions and closing arguments. If our minds had to be on top of it to keep us safe, because I was like looking at these comments, like, woo, woo. Thank you, film. Now, if you received a membership from film this morning, y'all know what y'all have to do. We're gonna say thank you. The names must be named. Thank you so much, film. Let's spam that chat with film. Yay, film. Yeah, so I was like, oh, we probably gonna have a rowdy crowd today. Hopefully not. Yeah, look, hopefully not. But I was like, that trial is very testy. It is testing people's patience, thoughts, and concerns. Like I didn't got to where don't nobody. I see a lot of things about nobody likes the judge. I'm like, like the judge is being paid off. I'm like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But I did see a lot of them saying that officer was very handsome. I was like, ooh, yes, he is. But soon as he was testifying, he put up his head and he definitely is married. So, oh well. Oh well. So much for that. Look, oh well, so much for that. But so cool. Now that I know that, I'll shoot an email over to the person that I thought that had the most concise and condensed information as far as the testimony, because I don't think we have to really like see the entire testimony, but and shout out to her. Her channel is I'm Not a Lawyer, but I kind of like the way she did hers. When I was looking at it, it was like short, sweet, and to the point. You just think. Absolutely. Yeah. So I think I'll ask her. I'll see if she has an email where I can email her. If not, I'm not gonna take anything away from it. I just want to really like show it and talk about it with you guys so y'all can see what I saw. So as we're going through this case, we can kind of like, yeah, if she has an email, Benny, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll try to email her first and see if I can use it or send her maybe on Twitter or something. I'll figure it out. Ask her if I can use it. Because she used somebody else's. So just, like she used somebody else's, but I'm not sure exactly what her means were in regards to using it. So I'll just ask her and kind of go from there. And if not, then I do have a one officer's testimony that is on law and crime. I don't know why they didn't post everybody else's, because I'm not sure. They could have just clipped out the part with the juror. And I thought that's what they were gonna do, but they didn't. So I don't know. What that part is all about. Like that, it seems so weird to me because like I don't understand why they couldn't just clip it out. But who knows? So without further ado, are y'all ready to go ahead and get into the courtroom? Only because I'm asking. I know y'all know I can sit up here and we can talk all morning long, right? Um, I do want to get over to the Ali trial, probably most likely on time. Let's see about these jury instructions. Long as they're on time, I have them up on my other screen. So as long as they're on time, I want to kind of be over there to get information. Let's see. Let me share. It looked like they was in the sidebar. Okay. Okay, so it looked like they was in the sidebar. We are on day 4, Jason. Yeah, so we on day 4. Yeah, day 4. Day 1 was really quick. It was just closing arguments and one witness. Day 2 was when they had the debacle in the morning. We were able to stream the full afternoon. We did stream the full third day, and now we on day 4. So we have our judge sitting up here, Miss Tatiana. That seems different, right? That's a different name. I wouldn't have never thought it. But anytime, Jason. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, I think in the background I'll be working on this diagram. As we listen to testimony, I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna be up here writing so we can connect all the doggone dots, right? When we going through the testimony. Okay, so let me see some ones in the chat. So are y'all ready to get into the courtroom, or y'all want me to sit up here and keep babbling? Because y'all know I can keep chatting. Y'all know I like to chat, especially after 2 cups of coffee. I know it's definitely not Libby. I guess you took the words. I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, that's different. I'm seeing those words. All right. Let's see. Well, let's go ahead and get into this courtroom and see what we have going on today. Thank you, Jason. Hey, Jody. I see you putting your ones. I appreciate it. Okay, here we go, guys. Let's see what we have.
Okay, and have you shown those to the defense? Said, any matters to address before we bring out both panels?
The next witness is going to Special Agent Corley.
Okay, and have you shown those to the defense?
Previously, I've shown one notebook that they're going to now, but the rest of these are phone records that we just not under consent.
Okay, can you tell me the exhibit numbers? Are they the 9s?
So it's 10E.
Oh.
T-Mobile records. 10C, which are also T-Mobile records. 10B, which are AT&T records. 10A, which are T-Mobile records. 10B are Sprint records. 9Z, which are T-Mobile records. 9Y, T-Mobile records. 9X, AT&T records. And 9W, which are T-Mobile records, as well as 9T, which is Apple account information for Apple ID S08198442, House of Pain 904@gmail.com, and Aki, AHKI@iCloud.com, which is 9T.
Okay, and this is as to both Defendant Whitaker and Defendant Robinson? Okay, any objection from Defendant Whitaker?
No objection to the cell phone records. They did file all of the certification months ago. My objection in regards to the composite exhibit, I have no problem with its use as a demonstrative aid that aids the jury in explaining his testimony. But otherwise, I would suggest, number one, it elevates his opinion to an exhibit. He is giving his expert opinion. It's not merely records. It's a demonstrative exhibit that essentially contains arguments.
Which exhibit is that specifically?
That is the next thing I'm going to address. That's states 10M, which is the math analysis.
Okay,
And the difficulty, Your Honor, is that they seek not only to introduce the actual maps that he's plotted, they also seek to introduce his whole report, which contains explanations of what some of the terminology means. I think it gives extra credence in exhibit form. It's illustrating their expert's opinion. Certainly testify to it, the jury can absorb it. If they want to see it once they're deliberating, it should be presented again, just like prior testimony.
all right, thank you. And as for Defendant Robinson?
Your Honor, we add in that objection, have a few more. With respect to that objection, it allows the state to have an advocate, so to speak, in the jury room. For that reason, it should be a demonstrative. The other objections that we have is contained within the materials, and the state can correct me if I'm wrong, there's some text messages. Those text messages are from the year prior, that there's volleys back and forth. Tell me if this is not this witness. Okay, so I'll table that objection. Then the only other one is, my understanding is for any of the iCloud data, they're entering it for the record, but not into evidence to go back with the jury with everything that's in the iClouds.
For the exhibit that I'm seeking to introduce now, which is the iCloud records, that's just the subscriber sheets information. There are additional records that come from the iClouds that we're seeking to introduce through a different witness, and it would not be the entirety of the selected items that we're showing.
Okay, so it's not,
That's not this witness.
that's not this witness.
No,
All right,
This is Special Agent Corley, he would only testify to the phone records and the map of the courthouse.
okay. All right, so do you want to table that until the next witness or the appropriate witness, Mr. DeCoste?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
The non-prem in advance objection that we do have is to renew one, which is the color coding of our client. If Your Honor remembers from the demonstrative that was used in opening statement that our client was in red, we objected to that. Red is universally known as a color of danger. Here, the phone number where the shooter is in red, and I think that there may also be there are numbers in here, there are two different numbers that are in red. Even subconsciously, this says to the jury, connect this with the red that you have for Mr. Robinson. So we have the 478 number, which is an unknown number that they believe that the shooter has in their possession. And then a phone call that's incoming to one of Mr. Robinson's other phones is also red. So Your Honor will see an 800 number.
Wait, I'm trying to look for a red number so far. I'm on page 10 and I haven't seen one yet. Hold on. Okay, page what?
So if Your Honor goes to page 17, you'll see a 478 number in red on the right-hand side.
Yes.
I'm sorry, 16.
Okay, yes.
All right. So that number is the phone that they believe the shooter had. Now, they've already coded Mr. Robinson to the color red. Then if you go to page 18, on the left-hand side, there's an 800 number. That's an incoming phone call on Mr. Robinson's known phone, unrelated to the 478 number. So this, I don't think helps a jury. I think it's confusing. We're just asking for colors that don't confuse them into thinking, oh, this is all Hakeem Robinson.
Okay. Any response?
Just that the maps are an exhibit. They're routinely introduced into juries. The slides that predate or that are before the map are necessary to explain to the jury what cell phone records are and how to look at the maps, how to interpret what they see on the maps. And the color coding is based upon the state's belief and evidence that we are going to present through other witnesses that will come in that will tie the two things.
Your Honor, what I'm hearing is that they haven't laid the foundation to link the 478 number to Mr. Robinson, so we'd add that objection. And then we don't object to the maps, we don't object to the data, we object to the color coding. These expert witnesses are supposed to help a jury understand it. This confuses it.
Well, there's multiple telephone numbers and there's multiple colors here. There's orange, there's purple, there's like a greenish gray, there's a couple reds. Honestly, there's more orange and teal than there are red. So if the color coding is the objection, I'm going to overrule it.
And the lack of foundation.
Okay, well, certainly predicate will need to be laid. Well, we have the business certification.
Yes, ma'am. This witness is not going to testify to who any of those numbers belong to. He's
Okay.
just going to say that he received the information for the numbers and that he mapped the corresponding data.
All right, so as to both Mr. Whitaker and Mr. Robinson, I'll overrule the objection as to 10M. I think that was it. As to the other exhibits, though, that were mentioned, there was no objection from Mr. Whitaker. Any objection from Mr. Robinson?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Which other ones?
The other ones the state outlined, I think they are 9W, X, Y, Z, 10A, B, C, D, and E.
No new objection. The same objections should apply here to the data that would be relevant here.
Okay.
I think we skipped one. This is maybe 250. Yeah.
All right, then if nothing else, are we ready to bring the jurors in?
Listen, I can do it now, or I can do it with the detective. I haven't moved anything.
Oh.
I would do that now. Or I can do it with the detective.
Why don't you do it with the detective? Okay, here it is, so we'll return it. All right, then if all sides are ready, why don't we get the jurors in and seated so we may begin? to continue with our duty at hand. Before we begin, I, of course, am going to ask all of you whether or not during this weekend recess, any of you inadvertently perhaps may have seen, read, watched, or listened to any news stories that may have been printed or aired about this case. If so, please raise your hand. All right, and I see no hands raised. Did anyone during this weekend recess, or even as you arrived here this morning or left on Friday afternoon, approach you or attempt to speak to you or say anything to you about this case? If so, please raise your hand. All right, and for the record, I see no hands raised. Has anyone, friends, family, or otherwise, tried to share information with you about anything to do with this case, the issues in this case, or the people and places involved in this case? If so, please raise your hand. Bless you, ma'am. All right, and I see no hands raised. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, then we are going to continue with the state's case in chief, and at this time, I'll call upon the state to call its next witness. Agent Corley, please. All right, sir, if you'll come forward and be sworn. All right, if you'll have a seat there on the witness stand, and be sure to speak closely, loudly, and clearly into the microphones. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes, my name is Special Agent Rob Corley. I work with the FBI in Jacksonville Division, and I'm assigned to the office in Daytona Beach
How long have you worked with the FBI?
since 2011.
And what is your current position?
Current position is I am assigned to the Counterintelligence Squad.
Okay. In addition to being counterintelligence, are you also a CAST agent?
I am.
And can you explain to the jury what is CAST?
So CAST is a group of about 80 to 90 agents and task force officers across the United States who receive advanced training and cellular analysis and location information. We have three primary functions. We respond to situations that involve locating individuals in real time, so tracking fugitives, looking for missing children, victims who have been kidnapped. So we use this information we're going to talk about today in real time to locate people. I've located fugitives, I've located missing children, and I've located the bodies of victims using this information. We also provide training to state and local and other federal partners in this same area. And we do what I'm doing here today, which is testify as a witness to help explain the subject matter.
Can you explain to the jury your educational background?
I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a master's degree in criminal justice.
And you also have a background in the military?
I do have a background in the military. I was a captain in the U.S. Air Force.
And did your background in the military use this type of technology?
Yes, I was a logistician. So we used similar technology to track cargo equipment moving in and out of Afghanistan. I also worked on some projects where we used RFID to find large warehouses.
Do you have any specialized training in your field specifically related to historical mobile device location analysis?
I do, yes, sir.
Can you explain that to the jury?
So I am CAST certified. The certification process for CAST requires us to go through several iterations of training. At this point, I've received about 400 hours of training in cellular analysis. It starts with a basic course where we learn the basics of records I'm going to explain today. We go through an advanced course, which gets into other types of records, location records, timing advance, and then we move on to an environment where we use the information in a command post situation to see if we can come up with the same solutions that other CAST agents have come up with in real world scenarios. If you progress through those, you're selected for CAST certification. CAST certification is 160 hours of training. It starts with Introduction to Radio Frequency Theory, which is taught by PhD professors from the Florida Institute of Technology. We receive 40 hours of training in that. And then we receive about 40 hours of training from each of the cell phone providers. So they bring in the people that actually maintain and pull these records that we're going to talk about today, and they bring in their engineers that set up their networks to tell us how and why they set up their networks that way. And then there's some additional training on software mapping, court testimony, a thing we call a drive test where we use equipment to measure the footprint of cell towers. And then once you complete all that, you're certified. We also are required to attend an annual recertification where they bring in those same providers to provide any updates to their records, allow us to ask questions to the engineers. They talk about new and emerging technologies such as 5G would be a big one right now that's going on. And we also get training from other companies like Apple, Google, Facebook, Meta. We recently had training from Starlink, which is now, your phone's connecting to satellites. So they bring in all kinds of people to give us information on emerging topics in location analysis.
Approximately how many times in the past have you had the opportunity to analyze historical call detail records with location information?
More than 100 cases,
And approximately how many times have you testified in court related to this work?
21 times.
Where all have you testified?
I've testified in this district in Jacksonville and Clay County. I've testified in Volusia County. I've testified in federal court in Fort Myers and Tampa, also Pensacola. I've testified in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Savannah, Georgia.
And have you been accepted as an expert interpreting this type of data?
Yes,
Is your analysis peer reviewed?
it is.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would tender Special Agent Corley for voir dire.
Okay, any additional questioning from Defendant Whitaker?
No, Your Honor.
And from Defendant Robinson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed.
In this case, did you create a report with visuals to help the jury understand your analysis?
I did.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Agent Corley, I'm showing you what's been marked as states 10M. Can you take a moment to review that? Do you recognize the contents of that binder?
Yes, it's my report.
All right, this time the state remove what's been marked as 10M, states 246.
All right. On behalf of Defendant Whitaker,
Just subject to the prior objection made.
understood. On behalf of Mr. Robinson,
Same, Your Honor, subject to previous motions and objections.
all right. And subject to those motions and objections, states 10M will be marked into evidence as states number 246.
May I publish?
Yes.
Agent Corley, do you see the screen in front of you?
I do. Yes, sir.
Is this the same report that's contained within that binder?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so we can see here on this first page, all of the numbers that you analyzed.
That's correct.
Starting on page 3, can you explain to the jury how a cell phone generally works in conjunction with cell phone towers?
Sure. So our cell towers are connected to each other to communicate back and forth. They're also connected to traditional landlines. So they move information and data from those towers to either over the internet, other landlines, or directly to towers. In order for your cell phone to communicate with a tower, it uses radio frequency. Your cell phone, when on, is constantly scanning its environment to try to figure out what tower it wants to connect to. So it's going to decide, the cell phone itself will decide what tower it thinks has the best signal for use. And once it makes that selection, it continues that. And when a call comes in or goes out, it's going to select that tower to complete that call. But it is constantly scanning the environment. So if you get up and move, you change directions, you leave the courtroom, it will then decide that if there's another tower that it thinks better is at that point. So it will make the switches. So it's constantly scanning to make those connections.
And once the phone selects a tower and a connection is made, like a phone call, are reports generated by the phone companies that you can review?
Yes. So once the phone makes a connection to the tower, it generates into call detail records, the timestamp, the tower and sector information that is reflected in CDRs.
Showing you page 4 of your report, can you explain to the jury what a cell phone tower looks like to the average person?
Sure. The cell tower up in the top left corner is what we would call a monopole. That's probably the most common configuration. I think if you see it out on the interstate, the tall poles with the array of antennas on top of it. Towers can appear, especially in Jacksonville and other urban environments. They're on the sides of buildings. And in some places, they're hidden or disguised in everyday items, such as a flagpole, or in this case, when city requirements require it to not be so ugly, they camouflage with this tree because they think that's not ugly. So a bunch of different configurations. And those cell phone towers are then split into sectors. There are several configurations. You can have a six-sided tower. You can have an omnidirectional tower, which covers 360 degrees. But by far the most common configuration of all cell towers in the United States is a three-sided tower. So you have a tower that is then divided into 3 equal sectors, and each sector serves a specific area. The phone companies provide us the direction that the center of that sector points to. It's known as an azimuth. So if you have in this illustration a 0 azimuth, you're pointing at true north, the direct center of that sector. So now we know if we have a tower, a sector, and the direction that that sector points at, we can then narrow down the location area of a device when it connects to the tower.
Can you say how much of a geographic area each tower will cover?
It varies based off of the areas in which the tower's placed. So in a rural area, it could be a very large area, say 10 miles between towers, or even 20 miles between towers in some instances. In a very dense urban area like New York City, you're going to have a tower every block. So it could be a very small area. And in an urban area like Jacksonville, it's going to range somewhere in between there.
You said earlier that the phone is the one selecting the tower. Does it always select the closest tower?
Not always. It's going to select the tower that it sees as having the best signal. That's usually the closest tower, but not always.
Okay. What kind of factors can impact that?
Environmental factors such as obstructions, the place you're in at a very hardened concrete building like a giant courthouse, there might be some things that delay a signal. If I was sitting with a 6-inch thick brick wall behind me and a window in front of me, it might select the tower that's 5 miles in front of me versus the tower that's 2 miles behind me.
Cell phone towers, are they like GPS records where they can put somebody in a particular point?
No, it's a general location. This is not a precise location. We can't say that someone is sitting in this chair in this room. We can say that they're in an area covered by a cell tower and sector.
Okay. And do phone companies maintain GPS records?
They do not historical GPS records.
Showing you page 5 of your report, can you explain how you interpret the call detail records? And we'll show those to the jury in a minute, but how you explain call detail records on a map.
So thinking back to that graphic in the tower before, this is a sector representing 120 degrees facing true north or 0 azimuth, and it's illustrated on a map with this wedge. We're able to provide the geographic location of the phone based on the next closest tower. So based on the positioning of the towers, we can provide an estimate on where a phone was located during the time of the event. In this call, you'll see on several maps, there will be multiple sectors off one tower. So the shaded area is just there to help you orientate towards which sector is being used and which direction it's pointing. That is not the coverage area of that cell tower.
Okay, so as you just explained, the shaded area is just showing you that we're in this part of the sector, but it could be somewhere out in that area.
That is correct. And it's also, every tower is configured differently. There is no sector 1 is always 0 degrees azimuth. It could be 10 on one tower, and it could be 30 on another tower. So it's whatever the engineers determine is the best position for those towers to provide coverage to their customers.
Page 6, can you explain this to the jury?
Sure. So along with the sectors, you're going to have a call out box on each map. And that call out box is going to provide some basic information. Up in the green, you'll see that it will provide the unique identification for that tower being used. The sector is that -13 in this case. And then it's going to provide the date, the time, the number of the device being used, the type of event that's happening, the direction, and then the associated number with that call.
Okay. And then in some of the boxes, you may get a number like a 3, I'm going to make one up, but like a 3-digit number that indicates the azimuth.
Yes. So if there are multiple sectors off one tower, I try to include the azimuth in there so you know which call happened on which sector. So if you see a number in there, we'll see on the map, I'll point them out, but I also included the azimuth so you know which sector is being used.
Where did the records come from that you used to generate these maps?
The records come from the cellular companies.
Is there other information that you need to generate the maps that doesn't come from the cell phone companies?
Yeah, so along with the call detail records, which include the tower and sector used, I need a tower records, which include where is that tower geographically located with the GPS coordinates. So where is the tower located? And then what is the azimuth of that sector? So those are provided in tower records. And then I also need to know what times and what locations are relevant to the analysis.
So just to touch on that second point first, you're an FBI analyst interpreting cell phone records.
Correct.
Are you involved in the actual investigation of the cases in which you're assisting?
No, when I testify as a CAST agent, I'm not. So I'm an agent that investigates my own crimes, but I don't, not my crimes that have been committed. No, in this case, I am only here to advise on the cellular records.
So the dates, the times, the phone numbers that are given to you, you don't know the significance of any of those.
In most cases, no.
And then on to the first thing, the tower list. So are cell phone companies required by law to report to the federal government where their towers are located?
Yes.
And when you're creating a map, so in this case, this homicide happened in 2020 or in 2025, are you using the tower records from 2020 to perform your map?
Yes, I use the tower records that are most closely related to the event that happened.
Going to slide 7. Can you explain to the jury what timing advance is?
Sure. Timing advance is an engineering term which refers to the distance or the time that it takes for a signal to travel from the cell phone to the, or I'm sorry, from the tower to the device and then back to the tower. Based on the time measurement of that event, the network then calculates an estimated distance of where that is. Timing,
Sorry, kind of like how echolocation works for a bat.
similar.
And why does timing advance exist? What is the purpose of it?
So timing advance is necessary in order to make the system work. So I like to point out, it's like if we all got up and ran out that door right now in an emergency situation, we would all crash into each other and fall and fail, right? But if we all got up in an orderly manner, proceeded through the door when we were supposed to, we would get out much more efficiently. So timing advanced is for that same reason. So all these phones and devices are trying to communicate with the same tower. The tower has to know how to order those phones and those devices. So it needs to know an approximate location of where those phones are located so that it can then order the activity that's happening with those phones. So it doesn't care exactly where you're located. It just needs to know an area. So timing advanced is really a measure of a timing advanced band. So the network saying your phone is located 1 band, 2 bands, 3 bands, 8 bands away from the tower. And then it knows that it needs to back up the things that it needs to do in order for the information to get to your device when it's necessary.
And this is separate than somebody making a phone call where there's an indication in the record.
Correct. Timing advance is a network initiated event. So these measurements are happening whether you're using your device or not. So as long as your device is on, the network can take timing advance measurements from your device. So it takes it at frequencies. It's set up differently for different market areas and according to what your phone's doing. So if it's taken 10 measurements of your phone in the exact same location, the network's going to say, quit measuring that. It's a waste of time. That phone hasn't moved. And it'll pick back up measurements again when it detects that your phone's in a different location.
We've used the word band. Is that what reflective here of this kind of red shape here?
Correct. That band represents the known distance of timing advance bands, which is 76 meters for 4G technology.
Okay, so the distance between the sides of the band are 76 meters?
Correct.
Well,
I'm sorry, 78 meters.
Will a phone always be inside of the band?
The majority of the time, the phone will fall within the band. There are instances where that signal can be bounced, which causes even a millisecond of a delay will then increase or add some distance. So the band will look like it's further away because instead of going straight from the phone to that tower, it took a slight variation. It bounced off a window, bounced off some sort of obstruction. So I had to go around. That little fraction of a second could add distance in the calculation. So sometimes the phone will be located within a band or two of the actual distance put in the records.
So in the instance where there's that kind of interference you just described, somebody would be slightly inside by a band.
It could, yes.
And so the difference would be like standing on the front steps of the courthouse versus being inside of a courtroom. There could be some interference by the radio frequency.
Correct. So, I mean, the difference in talking through it mathematically, it would be 78 meters closer or 156 meters closer. 6, yeah.
I want to reference 2020 when you received these records. in 2020, were all of the phone companies providing timing advance records?
No, back then only Verizon and Sprint provided timing advance records. Again, these are records that all carriers take. They're not mandated by law to be provided. So the carriers provide them if they maintain records of them.
Okay, so T-Mobile and AT&T did not.
Not at that time, no.
And again, these are not GPS records.
They're not GPS records.
Switch gears for a moment and show you some phone records. One of the phone numbers that was provided to you, 904-485-7529, there was no mappable data for that phone for this time period.
Correct.
And again, you don't know which record is associated to what person.
I do not.
Referencing 904-704-1595 as an example, and that states 232. So when you receive and when the jury receives these records, do they include with them what's called a records key?
They do.
And I'm showing you the records key here. Can you explain to the jury what the record key is?
So it's just an explanation of what each column in the record does. So if you're not familiar with it, you can use this key to kind of go, it gives you a little explanation of what each column is providing.
And I don't think the jury has heard this term yet, so I want to highlight, it says UTC. Can you explain to the jury what UTC is?
Yes, so UTC stands for Universal Time Coordinated, but what it references is a set time that all other time zones are then adjusted to. So Universal Time Coordinated would be 0, and then other time zones would then adjust forward or back from that. So in our time zone on the East Coast, it would be -4 hours during daylight savings time, -5 hours during non-daylight savings time or standard time. So it would be UTC -5.
So for January of 2020, it would be -5.
It would be -5 standard time. Eastern Standard Time is -5.
Just as an example, if the record said 5 p.m. UTC, what would the Eastern Standard Time be?
12 p.m.
Noon?
12 noon, yep.
And then continue like that. So if it's 4 p.m., what would the record be?
11 a.m.
And say it was 4 a.m.
It would be 11 p.m. the day before. So if the record was the 27th of July at 4 a.m., the actual event would have happened the 26th of July at 11 p.m.
Most of the records that you received are in Universal Time Code or coordinated?
T-Mobile, AT&T, yes. Verizon and Sprint, they're all different varying things. But nowadays, most are all going towards UTC, but T-Mobile and AT&T were.
And Sprint at that time was using local time.
Sprint at that time was using local time for some call records and central time for other call records.
And the records key would reflect which one that is.
Yeah, in this case, it was local time.
I want to give the jury an example of what you're looking at. I'm referencing what's called report AU or the 704-1595 number.
Okay.
So can you explain just briefly what the columns are that you're looking at? And first of all, what is this page reflective of?
This page is the voice records, or the records for voice calls over AT&T's network. And
explain to the jury just briefly what are the different columns and what's important to you for mapping purposes.
Yeah, so item 1 is just a number in the row in the record. So here there's 12 records, so 1 through 12. You have the connection date, which is important, and the connection time in UTC. You have the estimated time of the call, which is 16 seconds on the first one, the number that started the call, and the number that it was calling. And then in this instance, AT&T and T-Mobile, they also provide some information specific to the device being used, and then the type of call it was. So an MT is mobile terminating, MO is mobile outgoing. So that kind of gives you some information on that, you know, that it was an incoming call. If it's mobile terminating, it terminated to that line. If it's outgoing, it outgoing from that line. And then the cell location provides the tower, and then the geographic location or the GPS location for that tower, and then the azimuth. But again, we don't use the records. We don't use the tower information in the records organically. We pull the tower list and then match up the records with that tower list.
for an example where it's item 4 and where it says 20:03:06, that's in military time, but it's
That is-
also uniform or UTC. So that would be 15:03:06. So what's that, 3 p.m.?
3 p.m., yes.
You said that these are the phone call records. Do you get records as it relates to FaceTime or Instagram or FaceTime or Facebook calls?
No, so any kind of mobile or streaming service or streaming calls like that would occur as a data session, so it would be reflected in the records as a data session.
And when we're reflecting data sessions necessarily match up exactly with, like, say, for instance, a FaceTime call.
No, it could be its own data session. It likely would be embedded in multiple things that were happening during a data session. So if you have a 60-minute data session, I can't tell you what time you started using your ESPN app, and then what time you made a Facebook call, and then what time you got on the Google and searched for something. So it's all within that same data session.
We said, so FaceTime calls are not going to be reflected in the call logs.
No.
And then what about like iMessages?
iMessages, iPhone to iPhone, which makes it an actual iMessage, it would be a data session also. So it'd be reflected in data sessions. If you went iPhone to Google, it would not actually be an iMessage, even though it's coming from an iPhone. It has to be, both people have to be have iMessage enabled for it to be an actual message. So if both are enabled and it's going back and forth over Apple phones, it's going to be a data session. If it's mixing Apple and Google, then it would likely show up in the records as an SMS.
And just to highlight further, so if a data session exists, it could be that I sent one iMessage, it could be that I sent 500 iMessages. You just can't tell by these records.
That's correct. I don't know what's happening during the data sessions.
So let's look at the data sessions. So I'm showing you the next page of this. Is this what the data sessions look like for the 904, 704, 1595 number?
Yes.
And this set of records we can see comes from AT&T, where there's, in 2020, where there's some companies that you could or could not map data sessions.
There were companies that we chose not to map data sessions for. We could map the data sessions, and 95 to 98% of the time they were accurate, but there were some known inconsistencies with AT&T. Again, it's not mandated by law that they have to provide these records, so they do with them what they want. They had some inconsistencies that we weren't comfortable with, so as CAST, we chose not to map AT&T records.
Okay. So even though AT&T records were 95 to 98% reliable, CAST said that's not good enough for you all.
Right, there were certain anomalies that we knew existed, and we did not want to take the chance that we were looking at one of those anomalies and not knowing. They have since fixed that, so we know what kind of records we're looking at and which ones may contain those anomalies, so we do now, but we didn't then.
What about T-Mobile? Could you map data sessions for T-Mobile in 2020?
T-Mobile, yes, under certain circumstances, we look at it as the totality of events, so you look at the actual records themselves, and if it meets criteria, then yes, we will map it.
Okay. Just to give an example of some of the columns. So say, for instance, column or line 25 here. So we have 10:08, but that's UTC, so that's 5:08 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then we have the phone number, and then it tells us there's data going up and that there's data going down. So uploading, downloading things.
Correct.
I want to jump down a little bit to lines 42 and 43. So do you see line 42 there?
Yes.
So this is on January the 15th, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about 7:11 a.m.
7/11/09. It would be exactly 5 hours before.
And we can see there's data sessions going data up and down.
Correct.
All right. And then the next entry at line 43, we have at 18:10:44. So if I subtract 5 hours, that's 13:10, so about 1 p.m. 1:10:44.
Correct.
And we have bytes up and bytes down.
Correct.
Between those two times of 7:11:09 and 1:10:44 on the phone number 904-704-1595, there are no data sessions at all.
Correct.
What is that indicative of to you?
When you're using a phone that's dependent on, a smartphone that's dependent on data connections, the most logical answer is the phone's off.
And this is an iPhone?
Correct.
All right, I want to go back to the PowerPoint now. I'm showing you page 8. Can you explain to the jury what page 8 is?
Sure, this is a geographical representation of what areas were provided to me or locations of interest, and then the actual coverage for T-Mobile, AT&T, and Sprint. T-Mobile's the green, AT&T's the blue, Sprint's the black. This is the actual tower footprint for the Jacksonville area in 2020.
Okay, and just as an example, so here, there's a green dot. That's a T-Mobile tower, right?
Yes,
So even if I am like right next to the tower, but I am a Sprint customer, would I interact with that tower?
no,
So I can only interact with the tower that services my phone.
correct. Well, I'll caveat that there are certain rules for roaming. I mean, if you're old enough to remember when you roamed on a network, but nowadays the coverages are so wide that networks don't want you operating on other networks because you have to provide money. So in this environment, no. And if it were roaming on another network, you wouldn't see it reflected in the records.
Going to page 9, you explain to the jury what we see on page 9.
This is the first slide of actual analysis of the device. So this shows the telephone ending in 3684 and 4911 on July 15th, 2020, between 4:42 a.m. and 5:26 a.m.
Okay.
So what it,
No, and I just want to take this as a moment. So you have these colors. So are all of these in that color from the 624, 3684, those are the records that come from that particular phone?
yes,
And then same here with the 702, because we can see, for instance, at 50128 and 50122, I'm drawing all over this. These two phones are interacting with each other, but these are the records coming from their respective phone providers.
correct. So in this instance, the call at 5:01:22 a.m. is an outgoing call from 3684, which is located up near the green icon, and it's going into the phone number or the device using 4911, who's located on the green tower near the blue icon.
Okay. So the phone with the 3684 number.
Good morning, Zach. that helps to get you to number one. Look, I pause the testimony, stop the press. Zach want to know what it takes to get number one around here. You probably have to be in the chat like about 6 in the morning. You got to get here before Baca because she beat everybody to the punch. Hey, but that's a good start. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you had a nice weekend. They say you got to become a. Look, he's like, look. Yeah, I'm giving it to you, Zach. Whenever you need it, you don't even have to do that. Just let me know. Just put it in the chat. You ain't even got to do all of that. Just put it in the chat and let me know that you need it. Hey, pretty brown. Yeah, you don't even have to do that. Just put it in the chat. You. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just let me know. Absolutely. Hey, we can even have a secret code whenever you need it. Just say good morning, and I'm right on top of it for you. You ain't even got to do all of that. We'll make you number one. Okay, guys. Y'all know. Whoa. Are we getting garden tools up in here? Yeah, y'all make sure. He didn't already said it. He said, look, y'all, he ain't playing. He want his, or anytime you see, I'm gonna stop the whole, I'm stopping the whole stream. There you go. So whenever it go down, you got my full attention. If nobody else, you got my full attention. Okay, guys, let me put it back on the feed. Mm.
Is up here, and then it is going to move down here by the time of this call at 5:26.
That's correct.
States 10, or slide 10.
This shows the location for phone ending in 3684 and 0896, both at 8 a.m. Located in this area. So the phone ending in 3684 is represented in orange and is hitting off the orange sector, and the phone ending in 0896 is hitting off of the silver sector.
And in some instances, do you not actually get sector information from the phone companies?
In rare instances, the sector information was not provided in Sprint records, and was not provided in the records.
For the kind of silvery color 305, 321, 096, there's not a sector, but you've got like a circle. Can you explain that to the jury?
Sure. So I know it hit off of that tower, but I can't tell you which sector. So again, it's a broader geographic area where that phone could be located. It could be anywhere off that tower, which covers 360 degrees. So since we don't know the sector, I represent it as 360 because that's all I can tell you is it was on that tower.
The same general rules from before. You're not saying somebody's inside the shaded area. You're just saying they're interacting with that tower.
Nope. That's just to show you the orientation of the tower.
Page 11. We talked a little bit about it earlier. So here we've got an instance where there are two different sectors being interacted with.
Correct.
And you had explained with my poor example that where you use the three numbers, that represents the azimuth. Can you emphasize that for the jury here?
Yep. So if you go back to the initial illustration, think of it as a compass with 360 degrees. So in this case, the sector here points at 165 degrees on that compass, and the sector here points at 285 degrees.
And so at 8:30 to 9:30, the number 6243684, as well as 478, 491, 2831 are interacting with the towers located in this part of town.
Correct.
Page 12. This is the first time that we see that timing advance. So can you explain again to the jury the timing advance records here?
Again, so we now have the tower, the sector, and an estimated distance from the tower. So instead of having the entire area of that sector, we can narrow down further that it was in a more specific area of that sector.
And this is the first time that we see this 478-305-9583 number. And you have it indicating that it is in the area that services kind of the 7001 Merrill Road address.
Yes, I would say that tower is the tower that would most likely provide service to that residence.
Now, we've got these bands for the 803-3671 that are kind of opposing and going in opposite directions, but then they seem to meet here. Does that mean anything to you?
Yes. So the fact that those bands occur so closely in time, one's at 10:24:0 and one's at 10:24:24, so only 24 seconds apart, means that the phone or device is likely somewhere on the edge of those two towers. And we're able to narrow down that it's likely in this area as opposed to this area or this area, because logic just tells you that you can't get from here to here in 24 seconds. So you're going to be somewhere very close to where the towers intersect, and you're also going to be somewhere where you can logically get from one point to the other in the amount of time between the events.
Page 13. The 478-305-9583 has now moved from up here down here.
That's correct.
And then kind of walking through it. The 803 number is also moving kind of generally down.
Yes,
And then you have the 624 3684 is remaining up here the entire time.
that's correct.
And then you've got timing advance bands again. Can you explain those again?
Again, that's going to give you, so in this case at 11:39 and 11:50, I'm sorry, there's events on these timing advance bands. And at 11:30, there's events on this timing advance band. So instead of saying it's off this tower, this sector, but instead of saying it's somewhere here, we know it's more generally in closer to the timing advance bands.
And you've got in these call out boxes where these devices are and who the phone calls are between. So this is at 11:39 a.m. The 803-3671 has an incoming call from 624-3684. So that 3684 number is kind of up here. The 3681 is down here receiving a call. Is that what the map shows?
That's correct.
Page 14, we now have the 866-2370 number introduced. What is the general pattern of that phone?
So it shows you that at 11:40, the device was located over near this area using this tower and started moving in this general direction, ending up on this tower at 11:50.
Slide 15. You've got a lot of things going on. We've got the 624-3684 is calling the 478-2831. So that number is now down here, the 478-2831 number.
That's correct.
And the 624 number is remaining kind of generally up here the entire time.
Correct.
The 866-2370 number is now here in this area.
Correct.
And then the green 803-3671 number is also down here in this area here.
That's correct.
And we've got a timing advance record again for that green phone because it's only that 803-3671 that you get the timing advance, right?
That's correct.
So while it's hitting off of this tower, that's what the timing advance band is saying, approximately the distance it is away from the tower.
That's correct.
Moving to slide 16. The 624 number, again, still up in this general area.
Yes.
Now the 478 number is back up in this general area
That's correct.
at 1240. The red 478-305-9583 is now up here. It was down here, and so it's moved back up here.
Correct.
Now we're at 2:15 in the afternoon. The 866-2370 number has now moved up to the north side.
At 2:16, yes.
Slide 18. Now we've got a bunch of things going on again. So we've got our 624-3684, our 803-3671, all up here on the north side.
Correct.
We've got our 702-918-4911, and our red 704-1595 number is now back on, and it's also on the north side.
Yes.
And then we've got our 624, 38, 3684 also up here on the north side.
That's correct.
All right. Finally, you were asked to map this 904-240-5517 number.
Yes,
At any point during the relevant time periods between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., was it ever in the area of the homicide?
it did not connect to any towers in that area.
If I can have a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you, Ethan. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Cross-exam for Mr. Whitaker.
Actually, you need to report. I'll leave it.
May it please the court.
Yes.
Good morning, Agent Corley. How are you doing?
Good morning, ma'am. Good.
You used the word approximate location because you can only tell that the device is in the serviceable area of a cell
That is
tower,
correct.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And as we see by, I guess we'll start with page 19 of your report, sir. Or actually, yeah, let's go back to page 18. The way you have illustrated this particular map makes it appear that all these phone calls were together. That the physical devices were close to one another.
They were using the same towers.
And that's what you're trying to reflect, correct, sir?
Well, that's what the records say. I'm not trying to reflect.
How,
It is the tower, yes, ma'am,
now,
and a sector.
on this illustration, because all of your color coordination stops at that tower, you might look at that and say, oh, well, these phones must have all been together. But the records can't tell you that, can they?
They cannot.
In fact, they could be up to 2 miles from one another, correct?
I would say that's fair. It could be, yes.
Especially because in this particular part of Jacksonville, and this is kind of on the north side of Jacksonville, sir,
Yes.
this is a little bit more of a rural area, correct?
Towers do appear to be further apart, so the coverage area would be wider.
And so I just don't want our jurors to have this mistaken belief that this is an illustration showing all of these phones must be together.
This is an illustration showing that all these phones were using the towers that they connected to. They connected to the same towers. But I cannot tell you exactly where they were within the tower coverage area. I can just tell you that they were in that area of the tower.
And again, in Jacksonville, and it's an estimate, but in Jacksonville, it's roughly 1.5 2-mile radius, correct?
I would say that's a fair average.
And when we talk about these vectors, again, that's not absolute either, is it, sir?
The sectors,
Yes.
absolute in which way?
Well,
You mean
You know,
the degrees?
at the end of the day, all of these records and all of these towers, they are actually physically erected and monitored by the cell phone companies, correct?
I don't know about monitored. They're recorded
Okay.
in logged, yes.
The records are maintained.
Yes, ma'am.
And these are for-profit companies, correct?
They are. Yes, ma'am.
Their priority is full coverage, correct?
That is correct.
They don't want dropped calls, correct?
They do not.
And so, as you've explained, cell phones are designed and their technology allows the phone to decide, hey, how can I connect the fastest and best, correct?
The phone identifies the clearest signal. The phone decides the clearest signal from the tower.
Or wherever that particular phone is on in any particular moment, correct?
That's correct.
And because cell phone companies are in the business of not having dropped calls, their towers are going to purposely overlap, correct?
There is a small overlap between sectors on towers, yes.
And so that's what I mean by it's not an absolute exact because there is overlap between towers, correct?
There is overlap, but on the same logic that you're speaking, the company doesn't want you to have dropped calls. It doesn't want you to have interfered calls. So if there's too much overlap, it has a negative effect on your service. So There is enough overlap so that a call doesn't drop, but they're not overlapping and going over each other, because then there would be too much interference with your calls and you wouldn't have a good user experience. So there's a small portion of each tower where it would oversix. I think if you were to put a number, it would be somewhere like 70 to 75% out from a tower is when the towers start overlapping to provide that coverage so that you don't drop calls. And to your point, I think what you're trying to say, I don't want to be confusing. The beams are not exact. RF doesn't stop in straight lines. So if I represent a beam on the map, it's not going to look like a straight line. It's going to look more like, you know, a wiggly something like this, just to be clear. I think that's what you were asking.
Sure. And so you can't say whether a particular phone is 100 feet from the tower or 1 mile from the tower, with the exception of the time in advance.
That is correct.
And there was only one, did you tell us there was 1 or 2 of the phone records provided that did provide that time in advance information?
Well, at the time, 2 carriers provided it, Sprint and Verizon. There were no Verizon phones. So that there was only 1 phone in this analysis that had timing advance.
And which phone was that?
The phone ending in 3671.
Okay. And the full phone number for that is 904-803-3671?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that through Sprint?
That was through Sprint. Yes, ma'am.
And during this time period of 2019, 2020, wasn't Sprint being bought out by T-Mobile?
So the merger talks were ongoing, but Sprint and T-Mobile were still separate companies.
And wasn't Sprint suffering kind of from some defect in terms of the information they were providing?
I wouldn't say a defect. There was some records. In this case, we saw one with the sector missing, where a certain piece of information wouldn't be populated. So the information that was populated wasn't wrong, but sometimes data was missing. And this was, in general, as an opinion from CAST, it seemed like Sprint was waiting for this merger to happen, and they weren't focused on 4G. They were hoping they would get bought out before the 4G conversion. They did not, so they kind of scrambled to catch up with 4G, and sometimes their records reflected that. So if it's shown, it's not inaccurate or defective, but there were instances where some data fields weren't populated.
And obviously, your analysis is dependent on the accuracy of these records, correct?
Yes.
And you have to depend on the accuracy of when they're keeping the actual call records, correct?
Yes.
Okay. In addition to, you also spoke about separate, what you referred to as tower records.
Correct.
Tower list,
Yes.
correct? That's also compiled by the network companies, correct?
They are.
Okay. And they publish those periodically because they do change.
Yes, networks change. So if you want to increase your coverage or you are having trouble, then they will add towers. They will take down towers. They'll add different technologies to cover different things, data sessions. So when those change, the tower records have to be updated to reflect those changes.
And I think you mentioned that's one of the reasons you go out of your way not to use the tower records that are provided with the call detail records. You go get the tower records separate to ensure for the dates you're concerned about, you're using the correct tower list, right?
Yes, so there are instances when the tower list is organically in the records. In rare cases, generally when the crime occurred a while ago, so if I call in 2022 and ask for records from 2020, if they don't pull them correctly, which we've seen, they might pull the 2022 records for the towers along with the 2020 records for the call details. So we just make sure that we have the right tower list.
And I think you've explained that your analysis cannot give a precise location like a GPS coordinate.
That's correct.
You had mentioned back when Mr. Atkinson was showing you some detailed, and forgive me, I have forgotten, I guess it was data entry or data session?
Data sessions, yes, ma'am.
Data sessions. He was showing you some records for that. And you said that at that time, AT&T, you all felt, I guess, as an organization, that their records could not be relied on?
The records were reliable, but there were some known inconsistencies. Because of those known inconsistencies, we did not use them.
Okay. Because it appeared on those records, like within the column, there actually were latitude and longitude listed.
There were, yes, there were.
Okay.
And there were towers
that's-
connected. Yep.
Because of those anomalies, you never plotted those.
We didn't use AT&T records at that time.
So even though you had GPS coordinates that were supposedly associated with that data session, that's not reflected in any of your analysis or report.
We didn't map those, no, ma'am.
And again, the timing advance records, and these are separate than the call detail records and the tower list records we've spoken about, that you are also dependent on the accuracy from the particular cellular company, correct?
Yes, we are relying on the records being accurately depicted from the carrier, yes.
And the whole purpose, the reason timing advance exists from an engineering standpoint from these carriers is again for their promoting their business of not dropped calls and coverage and such, correct?
That's correct.
It certainly wasn't created for any kind of police or law enforcement or forensic work, correct?
No, but it is, timing advanced is a core function of a cellular network. So it has to work. If timing advanced doesn't work, the network doesn't work. No phones connect to towers. So it is a critical piece of that infrastructure. It's for their engineering purposes.
Sure.
We're able to rely on it, but it's not created for us in tracking phones.
And you can sometimes get information through iClouds, correct?
I don't get information through iClouds.
Okay, you never use iCloud information
In this presentation,
in any presentation.
I have not, I don't recall a time where I've mapped iCloud information.
Would you agree with me that that is possible, though?
Yes, there's probably location information that comes from iCloud.
Were you provided in this particular case any kind of iCloud material?
I was not.
And you mentioned that you, sir, you carry a full FBI caseload in your official position with the FBI, correct?
I do.
Okay, as well as this is just additional work, your cast work, correct?
Not just additional work. It's important work, but yes, I do this in addition to my primary job.
And absolutely no disrespect meant. What I'm really getting at, though, is you've received specialized training to provide this service, correct?
I have, yes, ma'am.
And part of that training actually involved teaching you how to testify, correct?
That's correct, yes, ma'am.
That was kind of a specific component of your training in order to successfully complete it.
Yeah, we received about 4 hours of training on testifying.
And you mentioned, sir, that in most cases, you do not know the details of the particular investigation when you're doing your cast type work, correct?
That's correct. Some information is provided. Sometimes in the request, they'll say this is the crime scene. But from our standpoint, I have a lot of cases going on. I can't keep up with what is important. The detectives tell me what time and what locations are important, and then I provide them the analysis of what's relevant, what call events happen.
In this particular case, were you provided more details?
I may have been. I'm not sure. I know at some point I did have some files that had names on them. So I assume at some point there must have been something associating phone numbers. But again, I don't rely on any of that information in my analysis.
Thank you. I have nothing further, sir.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Cross-exam for Mr. Robinson.
Yes, Your Honor. If I could have one moment, please.
Okay.
Agent, good morning. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
Well, thank you. This will be brief. It's easier for me because I'm the last to go. So in general, your testimony, what you're telling these juries is that you can't say an exact location for the handsets, correct?
I cannot. No, that's
All right. In a nutshell, it could be in that location.
the locations provided are the serviceable area of a tower.
But and you've testified how you can get kicked from one sector to another, that they could also not be within that area, correct?
That's fine. I'm sorry. Can you repeat it one more?
All right, yeah, let's jump into it a little bit more. You talked about the cell sites, and let's use these monitors as an example.
Okay.
Jacksonville. So we have
Yep.
one cell site, one cell site.
Yes, sir.
Now each one is a tower, is an antenna, and normally they have 3 sectors each, correct?
Correct.
Broken up like a peace symbol.
Correct.
All right. Now there may be some redundancy where the connectivity it overlaps, right?
That is accurate. Yes, sir.
And that makes sure that we can always have cell phone connection, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, if that tower's down, like Mr. Cooper, he's here with his phone, he's going to be on the southeast sector or in that area. But that antenna, that cell site, it's down, it's getting maintenance, it's broken, it's overloaded. Those are all reasons why it could kick to another one, right?
No. If you mentioned like 4 different reasons, so some are accurate, some are not. But if a tower is down and a phone is within the coverage area of that tower, the phone's not going to know that the tower's down or that it's not down. The phone doesn't know if a tower is overloaded or not overloaded. So if a tower's down, the phone's not going to see it. It can't connect to it. If a tower is overloaded and the phone decides that that's still the best signal, the phone doesn't know the tower's overloaded. So it's still going to attempt to connect to that tower. It doesn't have the logic to say, that tower's busy, I'm going to go to this tower over here. So it either connects or it doesn't connect.
Are you telling us our smartphones aren't smart?
I'm telling you that they don't have that capability. The networks themselves handle overload, and the examples of something being overloaded, again, these are multi-billion-dollar companies. They're not losing customers because they don't want to put up a $200,000 antenna. So
I don't want to lose these juries right now on the point that we were trying to hammer home, which is just, and perhaps we can agree on this, that the records, that doesn't definitively show that the handset was in that area. They could be in another area just connecting to that tower, to that sector, correct?
no, the handset has to be in a tower in the sector that it connects to. It can't be in another sector and connect to the usable area of another tower.
All right. So let's go to the next topic with respect to the handset. We can agree to disagree with respect to the sectors, but you can't say from what you have who has the handset, right?
Not, no, sir.
My phone's on council table. If Ms. Kawaz, co-counsel, makes a phone call right now, that's not me doing it. We can agree on that.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And you, as the FBI agent, as the expert, you have no information on who had each handset on that day, right?
I do not.
Now, you were provided records for a phone number ending in 1595, correct?
Yes, sir.
That phone number, and I'll refer to it as Mr. Robinson's phone.
Okay.
You can't place that anywhere in the vicinity of Merrill Road around 11 o'clock in the morning on January 15th, correct?
I mean, we would have to go back through the slides to go through a specific thing. Are you asking me on January, let me make sure I'm clear on it. January 15th at 11 o'clock, I don't know where that phone was.
Yes.
I only know where the phone was on the times that I depicted on the maps. So if we want to go back through it, I can answer that question. But if it wasn't on the map and you're aware of that, then I'm not saying that I could tell you. If it wasn't on the map, I don't know.
I'm going to come back to that question, and I'm going to have you do that, but I want to clear up one issue first.
Okay.
You were asked by the government on your direct examination why there was no events for the 1595 number, and you said that it's consistent with the phone being off.
Oh, that's correct. If that was in that time period, then yes, the phone would be off. I couldn't tell you where it was at.
You don't know the reasons why it would be off, right?
I don't know, sir.
Could have died,
Any number of reasons that a phone goes off, yes, I don't know.
could have lost connection,
Yes, sir.
could have been out of range.
It could have been off the network, so it would have to be in a very rural area, but yes, possible.
Now, you talked about the anomalies, the errors with AT&T records, correct?
The anomalies, yes.
And the 1595 number, Mr. Robinson's phone was an AT&T serviced phone, correct?
It was.
All right. Now, I'm going to have you go back through it. For the data events that you have for 1595, can you take a look, and once you're refreshed? then
Oh,
I'll
I'm
ask you-
sorry. No, 1595 is not an AT&T phone, is it?
Do you want to look at the records?
I do.
Or if I could have 1 moment.
All right.
Show the government if I can approach the agent.
Yes.
subscriber info.
No, that's fine. Okay, yep.
Did that help your memory?
Yes, sir.
Or AT&T, right?
Yes,
During the time frame when there was these anomalies, correct?
that's correct.
Now, asking the question again, and please take a look through your slides if need be. Do you place Mr. Robinson's phone 1595 anywhere within the vicinity of Merrill Road the morning of January 15th?
I'm not sure where Merrill Road is without seeing it on the map. I can't move the map.
So,
Or I can get the binder if you have the binder.
yeah, let's do that. Your Honor, if I can approach again?
Yes.
Please. That's your report, right?
Yes, sir.
You have the ability to,
I can't move it. I don't think.
State, can you change the page to page 8? Oh, that one's good. Actually, let's do page 8,
Page 8,
please.
this one?
All right. So you plotted it in red.
Yes, sir.
All right. Could you do me a favor, draw a circle around the red, what we're talking about, the Merrill Road location? You following, Agent?
Yeah, yes, sir. Sorry.
You can actually draw on that screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're asking me. I'm sorry. Yes.
Draw a circle around it. All right. You were given call detail records for my client's phone, 1595.
Correct.
Do you place it in that area anytime during the morning of January 15th?
I have to see the records. I have to see the maps.
Your maps?
My maps. Yes, sir. I don't have them memorized, especially for.
No, totally understand. Please take a look at it.
So you're asking, is the number ending in 1595 in the area of Merrill Avenue at what time, sir?
Anytime during the morning of January 15th, 2020.
No.
So just to be clear that we're on the right question, I asked you if you can plot the 1595 phone number, my client's cell phone, anywhere in the vicinity of Merrill Road the morning of January 15th, 2020.
No, the only event that I see mapped for 1595 is a phone call at 3:03 p.m. It's not near Merrill Road.
All right. Now we're going to come back to 1595.
Okay.
But what you're telling me is that at 3 o'clock, it's nowhere near Merrill Road.
Sorry, is that not the number you asked me about? 1595?
It is.
Okay, yes. I just want to be clear. I'm sorry. Yes, that is the mappable event I have for 1595 is at 3:03, and it does not appear to be, or it is not near Merrill Road.
Now, I want you to hold on to that because I'm going to come back to it.
Okay.
But right now, I just want to talk about not your experience, but you as a cell phone expert, as the FBI agent.
Okay.
If I have my iPhone here, if I were to make an Instagram phone call, can you explain to the jury how I'd have to be communicating with a tower to do that?
Through a data session.
Correct. So if I were to, right now, if I were to make an Instagram phone call, it would connect to one of the cell sites, one of the towers,
Correct.
and we would see that data event reflected on my cell phone records, correct?
No, you wouldn't see a specific event. So if you called at 12:05 p.m., there may be a data session that lines up with that call at 12:05. But there also could be a data session that started 30 minutes prior that is a 60-minute data session. Lots of different events, including your Instagram call, could happen through that data session that's already initiated. So there's no way to parse out exact things on data sessions. And even if it happened at the exact same time that an Instagram call showed on a phone log, we wouldn't testify that that's an Instagram call because we don't know what's happening in the data session. It very likely would be, but I wouldn't testify to that.
If there were an Instagram call,
Yes.
there would be some data session, understanding that it can be reflected either by a larger time frame or a smaller.
Yes, sir.
Something would be reflected in the call detail records, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you asked to analyze the call detail records of 1595 for any data events?
Again, we do not map AT&T data sessions.
Now, we're not talking about mapping. We're just talking about locating them within the records. Were you asked to do that?
I mean, I reviewed some data sessions. I did it on the stand during the direct examination. So I've looked at the data sessions, but I didn't particularly, my job is to provide location analysis with the CDRs.
So
I don't know if I did or not.
So you would not be testifying at all that there was a data session at around 11 a.m. for my client's 1595 phone number where he's making an Instagram call?
No, I'm not testifying to that. In fact, if it's the same one we looked at where there was a 5-hour period, which I think it was, then there was no data session in the records.
All right, so that would reflect that somebody was not making any Instagram calls during that time period, specifically around 11 a.m.
There would be no data, no, there's no data sessions.
What about the 9583 number, 478-305-9583? You plotted that, correct?
I did.
In your review of those records, the call detail records are a very small period of time, correct?
You mean that I mapped?
That you were provided.
Yes, sir.
Was there any indication in there, the records that you received, all the stuff that you received from the state, allowing you as the expert, the FBI expert, to say who that number belongs to?
No, again, I don't try to place phones in people's hands.
You have no testimony for this jury that that phone, the 478-305-9583, that phone in any way connects to my client, Mr. Robbins, correct?
I don't know who the user of that phone was, no, sir.
But there's nothing within there, sort of like if you were to review my call detail records and you see phone calls with Miss Kawas, phone calls with father to coast, mother to coast, you'd be able to come to a determination it's consistent with it being Chris DeCoast's phone, right?
If I had all the records and then I subpoenaed all the rest of the subscribers on there and then I analyzed all of those things, I maybe could infer through logic that I saw a call to your mom, a call to your brother, a call to your daughter, a call to your job, and say that might be a likely phone for someone. But I don't have any of those records, and I did not do that in this case.
You're confined by what the government gives you.
Well, again, I'm not worried about who has the phones. My job is to say where the phones were and what the call detail records say. If there's subscriber information in there, then that could indicate that it belongs to somebody. But if not, I don't make an attempt to try to identify who the phone belongs to.
We're just talking about what could have been done. Not saying that you didn't do something, just talking about what could have been done. Because let me finish with a question. I understand for you that the identity of who has the 9583 number wasn't part of the job, but for us in this courtroom, it's the entire case.
Okay.
Because that's a phone that's believed to have been in the possession of the shooter. So my question to you is, could the state have provided you with more records and made the request? Can you help us figure out who ties to this phone?
I'm not sure what requests or records they had, but yes, if they would have asked me, I would have looked at anything that they asked me to look at that I would have an opinion on.
The records that you reviewed for 9583, are you able to say that there was any data session around 11 a.m. the morning of January 15th consistent with an Instagram call?
No.
There's nothing in there, correct?
There were no data sessions in that time period.
Okay, so 1595 and 9583, neither of them have a data session right before 11 a.m. on January 15th.
My testimony is to the 1595 number. I don't have the data records in front of me. I'm happy to look at them if you have them.
Okay, so let's break this up. We've handled 1595. Okay, now we're at the 478-305-9583.
Okay.
That number. Do you need to look at those records to answer the question whether there was data sessions? If you do, I can provide it to you. You can refresh your recollection. I can ask again.
If it's not on the map, then yes, I would have to see the records to see if there is a data session, but it would be obvious in the records.
Second, Your Honor. I'll let Your Honor know I'm probably about 75% done.
Okay.
Sure.
On this page, let me show it to you. On data session. Your Honor, if I can approach?
Yes.
Agent.
Take a look at that. Let me know if that refreshes your recollection. The time frame that we're looking at is before 11 a.m.
Before 11 a.m. Okay, I'm sorry, can you re-ask the question?
Data sessions
Okay,
prior to 11 a.m.
yes.
Guess what?
Yes, there are.
There are data sessions prior to 11 a.m., but we're talking about certain periods of time. Are you just testifying in general that there are communications, or are you testifying that there's certain times?
You asked me data sessions before 11 a.m.
Correct.
Yes.
What times?
There appears to be data sessions from 8:49 all the way up until 10:58. That's UTC, so it's going to be 5.
Okay.
So I guess in local time between 5 and 6:32 a.m.
Okay. If I can approach.
Yes.
Oh, is this scroll? Sorry. There are data sessions between 8:12.
For the jury, are you testifying to UTC, or are you testifying to the
Eastern
converted?
time. I'm converting in my head, I'm sorry. It was 12:12 UTC, which is 7:12 Eastern time, all the way up until 17:25, which would be 12:25 local time.
You can't say that that's consistently throughout that time communicating with the data session, just that there are connections within that time, right?
Correct.
Approach.
Yes.
No, Agent, with respect to 1595 and 9583, and now we're talking about plotting. All right, and let me know if you need to take a look at the records again.
Okay.
9583 number, the records that you were just looking at, you can plot that in the general area of Merrill Road up until about 12:45 Eastern Standard Time.
I'm sorry, the 9583 number is what we're talking about now?
Yes.
9583, it is in the general area of Merrill Road at 10:17 a.m.
Agent, we're just talking about 12:45. If you need to take a look at the records.
12:45.
Agent, instead of looking at the records, do you not remember if there was an event at around 12:45 and that you'd be able to place it? Would it refresh your recollection and take a look at the records?
Sure.
I mean, if you take a look at the very last lines.
Okay.
We're asking about 12:45 Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
Is the 9583 number communicating with a cell site in the vicinity of Merrill Road?
Well, okay, I want to clarify. Are you asking me about the point that I have drawn on here, which is 701 Merrill Road, or Merrill Road in general?
I'm not asking you, focus on the computer.
Yes,
I'm
it's
not asking
in
you
the
about your-
vicinity of Merrill Road.
Okay, so 12:45 Eastern Standard Time, 9583, the shooter's phone is in the area of Merrill Road.
12:40 PM, it is near Merrill Road, yes.
A little bit later than 12:40 PM. Can you give the exact time?
12:48.
Okay. Now, you know when you're all set.
I'm all set.
All right, 1595. Do you have any locations in and around 1248 for the 1595?
No, sir.
If I were to show you the
Call detail records for 1595.
could there be a point?
Are you asking me, is there something I didn't map?
Well, yes. So to save the suspense, there's an event at right after 1 o'clock for 1595.
Okay.
Did you plot that?
The only call that I plotted was at 3:03 PM for 1595.
All right, but what we're talking about at, do you have the 1595 records in front of you?
I do not, no, sir.
State. Pages 3 and 4.
I can approach.
Yes.
Sorry.
Take a look at pages 3 and 4. I'll re-ask the question.
Okay.
There's an event right around 1 o'clock, right?
These are data records. We don't map AT&T data records. There's no events mapped for AT&T data records anywhere in my report. So there is an event that happens at 1:10.
And those records contain a latitude and longitude, correct?
They do, yes, sir.
Right. So that will give us a location, something.
Yes.
Can you tell where that location is from the latitude and longitude?
I cannot.
If I were to tell you that it was way north near Old Soul Donuts, that seem correct?
I have no idea where it's at. I don't know where Old Soul Donuts is or where the latitude is. We can map it on, we can pull up on Google and map it.
So you could pull up on Google and map that latitude and longitude.
I can map this latitude and longitude. I would not put any weight behind what AT&T was providing in 2020. So we did not map records in 2020.
Understand? It's all we have
Yes.
to be able to map it. So why don't you, and feel free to use my computer. It should be connected. If your honor is okay with that, you can map those live right here.
Is there any objection?
I don't have an objection.
Okay.
sorry, what was the reference to location?
All right, so you plotted the location, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And what we'll do is we'll go back to your map and you can just generally point out where it is. So you circled Merrill Road before, so that would be consistent with the location of the 9583 number, right?
Okay, yes, sir.
All right, so now if you could circle where the 1595 number is, the known phone of my client, several minutes later.
So, I'm sorry, I don't.
So you're gonna see Quarantine Island right
Yep,
there.
Yep, so it's somewhere right above here. Is that fair?
Maybe a little bit higher, but we'll say in that general vicinity.
Okay,
That's where you, in understanding the concern that you have about the reliability of AT&T records, we have what we have. You plot that where he's 1595 number is north.
yes, sir.
And your knowledge of Jacksonville, that's miles north.
Yes,
Now, let's stay on the 1595 number, my client's number. Within the call detail records, right before the murder, right after the murder, do you have any communications between that phone and the other phones that you were asked to plot?
sir, I can't make assertions on what it is without seeing the records. I cannot memorize these records. It's not possible.
I understand. I'm not asking you to. And we have it here, and that's why I have the computer up if I need to show it to you. But if there was a communication between two of the phones, you would have put that on some of your maps?
If there was mappable location data for the device, I would have put it on my map and I would have included the calls that it was talking to.
Now, do me a favor, look to page 1 of your report. You were asked by the government, and again, for fairness to the jury, when I'm asking questions about plotting it, I know that you don't know the facts of the case and you're just plotting the data that you're given by the government. So I don't mean that to come off like an accusation that you didn't plot something.
Right, and I'm not, I'm just trying to let you know I can't memorize everything. Okay, page 1.
Yeah, so you were asked to plot 904, 485, 72. What's that number?
All right, I'm on page 1. 904
485, it's right on the ball.
7529.
You receive records for that phone number?
I did.
They don't ask you questions like the subscriber information and stuff like that, right?
So the subscriber information was likely provided with the records. I don't generally pull it up and look at it unless I'm specifically asked that for trial purposes.
All right, now the number that you were given to plot was 7529, correct?
Correct.
And the records that we have for Natalie Gant are 7259, not 7529.
Okay. I mean, that could be a typo in my report.
But it could also be an error by the government.
Yes, I guess either way.
At the end of the day, you don't plot any locations for the number 7529, correct?
I did not.
But you don't know sitting here whether there are plottable records for Natalie Gant's known phone of 904 485 7259.
The records that were provided to me, there weren't any information to map in the time period and the locations.
Now, conclusion, you're confined on your plotting to what the government gives you, correct?
I would say that I map whatever records are given, I ingest those and I do it, but my analysis generally, well, no, my analysis focuses on the time period and the locations the government gives me.
You're not sending out subpoenas yourself to collect records.
No, sir.
Did they provide you records for Chris Brown?
I don't know names associated with phone numbers, sir.
But all the records that they provided to you are contained within your report.
Correct.
One moment, Your Honor.
Yes. Is there any redirect?
Yes, ma'am. I have a moment.
Yes.
Judge, I just want to talk about a couple of points. Actually, Judge, I apologize. Can I have 5 minutes before redirect? Just need to check on something.
Okay. Like to excuse the jury?
Yes, ma'am. Can we just take a quick bio break?
Okay. All right, then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to leave your notepads on your seats and have us step into your jury room for just a brief recess. We'll call you.
Well, I definitely don't want to be muted. Thank you, Gina. I was just saying, I don't know what this man is talking about. I'm over here working on the diagram so we can know who all these people are. You know, these AKAs, TKAs, you know, these nicknames. So I'm working on the diagram so we can kind of follow along with testimony, considering that we got a lot of things going on and everybody's name seem like it's the same, right? So that's what I've been working on is the diagram. And he just in my ear like womp, 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 womp. I don't even know what they talking about. I don't even know. I don't know what they do. I don't know what he doing. I don't know what he testifying to, but I know that the defense attorney that's currently questioning him has been questioning him for a while now. In regards to what, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. The jury, I wish they would have some visuals, right? The most things that I can follow is when they have visuals. I love to see like the actual text messages or show me the text message on the screen so I can kind of like follow along. Or, you know, even in the Karina Cooper trial, even when they was doing the phone records, they had like actual diagrams up there, right? Or something, a picture, or you know, highlighted in some yellow and some red and some green, or something. Like all I done got out of this, they don't know who had the phone at the time. They don't know who had the phone, but don't take my word for it because, like I said, in my head it was womp 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 womp. Let me work on the diagram. So I'm gonna rely on y'all for those notes. Yeah, well, you know, Libby, last week it was like we came into the trial and it was kind of fiery, right? And you know, because we got our first snitch on the stand, then we got to see you know, some experts in regards to the weapons that were used. We were able to see like the kind of the chase. We were able to see some photos. So I mean, last week, the first 3 days, like, and then the one attorney, she is like great. You know, so she keeps, even though she a little fiery, right? She got that fire up in her, you know, that little, you can tell she from the hood. She like a Jenny from the block. She ain't playing. You know, she at least keep me entertained. Like I'm like, okay, and looking like, you know, just the different ways that her voice go. Yeah, Gina, we did hear film told us earlier in regards to that. Yeah. You say your nose is doodling of a butterfly. Yeah, Libby, that's what I'm saying. Like, and you know, even with him getting on the stand, he was like a professional certified snitch. Like he was telling on everybody. He was telling on the dog, the cat, the car wash man, when the people didn't pick up the trash, who was coming down the street. He had every detail. Like even when the prosecution team asked him something, if it was incorrect, he stopped them and said, no, that's incorrect. Instead of it being 20 years, it was 25. Like he was He was so on it. I mean, he done told on the girlfriend. He done told on everybody. And y'all know that if he told on the girlfriend probably wouldn't even been involved with any of his BS if he didn't have her involved. And then he gonna turn around and snitch on her. Like, I can't with him, you know, and then with him, his involvement, and it leads me to my question that I kind of asked earlier. Like, he's in there and he has pled guilty to 2 unalivings, like, right? So that's what he has pled guilty to, and he trying to get a reduced sentence versus to being in there for the rest of his life. But it sounds like he just out here doing crimes and then snitching on everybody. So it doesn't appear like he has learned any lesson. It seems like the only lesson that he has learned in all of this stuff is, hey, I can go out here and do some bad stuff. As long as I know somebody else who did something worse, the bigger fish, I'm good out here in these streets. You know, like, really? Yeah, he's snitching on everybody. Like, everybody. The mail was delivered. Like, everybody. Like, dang. Like, correcting them and just everything. Like, it was such a professional snitch. I didn't even understand it. Yeah. Well, we'll see if a bigger fit, because I just really don't think he should get out like that. I think, but you know, I guess if his testimony stands the way it is, he'll probably get a reduced sentence, but really, should he? I don't think so. I don't think so, because that's just letting people, that's just telling people that they can go out here and do these crimes, especially as heinous as they are. And although they were not the actual shooter or whatever the case may be with their involvement, like, he was literally on the stand just as blunt as day, like, because of some rap lyrics, we wanted to unalive him. We didn't like the rap lyrics. I threatened her and told her I was going to unalive. Like, it just rolled off his tongue. Like, with no never mind. Like, he didn't care. He didn't give it a second thought, no hesitation, no breaks, no nothing. Like, no nothing. Yeah, but even Little Woody, when he got on the stand, Libby, he was just like, you know, I was doing all that snitching because I knew that y'all wanted them, but, you know, I was just lying, right? This guy ain't even doing that. He didn't do that at all. He went up there and he was like, I'm gonna tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and I'm gonna tell the truth on everybody. When I heard about the girlfriend that he was telling the truth on her, I was done. I was like, well, she wouldn't even been in it if it wasn't you. You say, I love Little Woody. I know. I did these crimes. He was like, I did these crimes. Right? And then the other guy that came up there to testify, he caused the whole mistrial. Yeah, Jason. So from what I can understand from this incident is that one of the brothers or and the son was unalive. At the same time, the daddy, I think it's the daddy, he was shot in the head, but he survived. And what happened was the rival, I guess the rival gang, they made songs in regards to smoking on somebody. I guess that's as a disrespect to the unalive homies. And they didn't like the song that this guy had put out in regards to that incident. So they unalived him for it, right? And I don't know. It's just a mess. Dude on YSL trial said, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm so high, I'm about to fall asleep. Yeah, I remember him. He wasn't playing. He was tired. I forgot which one. Is that the one that got actually sentenced for perjury? Yeah, they still trying to get out of jail. Yeah, like, and it's so crazy that we talking about this, I don't know if any of y'all have seen the thing with the cash out sentencing. Because that happened right there in Atlanta too, and that was a RICO. So I was listening to that one over the weekend, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they got the mama, cash out, and the cousin. Now, what the mama doing with the SEX trafficking and stuff? Like, what is she doing? Like, what is going on out here? I said, well, at least Atlanta got that one because that was a RICO, so that was kind of, and they did kept that one up under wraps because it wasn't really like, I don't know if it was televised or not, but I just happened to see it through my timeline. And I'm like, is this the guy with the cashing out song? I'm like, oh man, yeah, Irish Amy, yeah, they sentenced him to life, and mind you, they had offered him 25 years. He declined it and wanted to go to trial. So he took it to trial. That wasn't in his best interest. My name, the name of the channel is Take It to Trial, but you better make the right decision when you're trying to take it to trial, because he took it to trial and they found him guilty and they put him in there for the rest of his life. Yeah, because one of the attorneys that was in the YSL case, the granddad, the father and son team, they were representing him, the guy cash out. Yeah, they got him for pimping, and I'm like, I ain't pimping, really? Women out here still need pimps. Like, we can do that on our own. I don't even understand. Like, I don't need your coordination, your protection. You gonna take all my money? Sure. Duh, women still doing that? Like, I don't need that. I can go out here and do that myself and get all my money. Right, film. That's why I said he shouldn't have never took it to trial. Yeah, I'm gonna go get this right, Irish. I'm gonna go get this whole bag myself. Like, I ain't doing no cuts and splits. Who need a pimp these days? I don't know. But when I heard pimp, he a pimp, I said, whoa, they still do that? Really? You can hire your own bodyguard. And I don't know what the mama involvement was, but I'm like, now how she up here condoning all this stuff? That she was so tearful and sorrowful. She didn't get as much time as Cash Out and the cousin. But I mean, she older, right? I don't know how much older that she is. She may have had him when she was young, but you say she was making the lunches, trying to act like she ain't know nothing about it. They put the mama right on in there. I guess they must think they pimps would. I was like, pimping? They still do that? Like, what are we talking about here? But apparently they do. That's all I can say. Apparently they do in some shape, way, form, or fashion. But yeah, so I watched that over the weekend, and I was saying to myself, when I was hearing him, talk to the judge, I'm like, oh, the judge is not giving him he's not gonna be lenient. She's not gonna be lenient on him. Like, no remorse, no nothing, And I heard the victim impact statements, and these girls were traumatized, I don't know what they thought they were gonna be getting from this man, you know. And his whole thing is that they kept leaving and coming back, right? And I don't know if any of y'all had seen the whole Nature Boy trial when that went on. It was maybe about 2 years ago. And the women in that trial, they just kept coming back and coming back and coming back and leaving and coming back. And yeah, he in jail for the rest of his life too. You know, yeah. Yeah, Libby. Yeah, it was really sad. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Says pimping ain't easy. You got that right. It's definitely not easy. It comes with a cost to be the boss, baby. And them girls said they wasn't getting none of their money. Yeah, they got them down on the Rico. Like I said, he ain't had Diddy money. If he would have, that's right. Just like Diddy, two girls kept coming back. He didn't have Diddy money, because if he would have had Diddy money, he might could have, you know, fought some of that stuff, right? He ain't got Diddy money. He had a little bit. I don't even know if he had that. And I'm like, who? I don't know. I'm keeping my thoughts to myself on that one. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I think that a lot of it, you know, even with the women on their part, and just hear me out on this, because you know, last time I checked, I'm all woman, right? Look, last time I checked, right? I'm all woman, right? I just want to know, like, where, you know, even though women, we get in these situations, when do we like hold ourselves accountable and just know that we just made a bad decision in some situation? I'm not saying particularly this one, but I know there's some situations where I see these things come against me, and I'm like, well, you know, that just sounds like a bad decision about a woman, right? And the only reason why it's making a difference is because this person is famous, or they got some money, or, you know, something. But it just sounds like a bad decision on our part in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But that's just my personal thing, not in all situations. So it's not a blanket thing, and it's not saying people are not victims or victims, right? But I do think that at different points in times, like in one moment, I don't want to be called strong and you powerful and women are this and that. And then in the next moment, we so weak, as you know, they're portraying us that we so weak that we cannot mentally make decisions for ourselves, right? Like kind of like the Diddy thing. Like, okay, you can't be this strong, powerful woman in one breath, and then in the next breath, you're so mentally, you know, like, I don't know. I just got my different thoughts when I think outside of the box about some of this stuff. Cause I'm like, well, us normal day-to-day women, the same thing that maybe a Jane Doe or a Cassie may have went through. Not to say that it's right, but women on a daily basis probably go through that stuff. We just don't get nowhere because all the people that we dealing with is broke. I mean, like, they ain't got Diddy money. They ain't got nothing for us to go after, right? Yeah, we make bad mistakes because we love them. Like, I can see it's a lot of things, like even with that trial, like the things that they were doing, like the stuff that Jane Doe, the stuff that, I mean, like that didn't seem out the box to me, right? I've seen it in live action. So what they were saying is not out of the box for me, but it may be out of the box for the norm person, right? That's not doing that type of stuff. And people do compromise and do different things when they get in relationships all the time. But, you know, I think that their main thing is that everybody wanted to be number one. But I ain't going to go into that because that's a whole nother story. We'd be here all day, me talking about that, because that was a hot mess. But it's the most expensive attorney fees, the longest legal case that I have seen for prostitution in my life. Like, okay, y'all did all of this for this? But yeah, let's see where they're at in court. Cause y'all know I will get up here, I will get to talking. We won't even get back in court. And maybe I should have that for one of my our little talk sessions when I go. I said I'm gonna do a live, just an impromptu live at some point in time, and do some, live questions and where we can discuss anything that's going on. Okay, let me get the trial back up for us. I'm gonna shut my mouth.
Location information points from an iCloud account.
Yes, you can receive location. I'm not sure of the exact title without having the records in front of me, but you can receive various different types of location information from iCloud.
Importantly, when it comes to an iCloud account, what you can receive is contingent upon what a person chooses to back up.
Correct.
Okay, so if somebody doesn't back up their location data, you don't have location data.
That's correct.
You were asked about going through the call records and determining who a phone belongs to based on who they made the call. Are there other ways to determine who a phone belongs to?
Yes.
You can look through the phone itself, for the accounts that are registered to the phone.
That is a possibility, yes.
You can look through the photographs to determine who's taking selfie pictures.
Yes.
You were asked about the data sessions on the 9583 number. Can you see them on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so that we're going through it, your testimony is consistent with the records. There are data sessions basically all morning on the 15th, right?
Correct.
Just for instance, that's 13:27, so we subtract 5, so that's 8:30 about?
8:27:32, yes, sir.
Okay, and then going forward at we've got 10, 10:20, almost 11 o'clock there. Going forward, 11:30, there's data sessions all morning.
Yes, sir.
And I want to walk through that phone again to show where it was. There's only a couple of mappable points of data that you have for that phone, right?
Yes, sir.
So starting here for the 9583 number, it is interacting with the tower that services the homicide location. Well, you don't know, but the 7001 Merrill Road.
Yes, sir.
And then after that, it's going to move down south to about where 1033 is. So the tower that services that area.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
And then after that,
All right, sustained. If you'll rephrase your questions.
where is the 9583 number at between 1130 and 1151?
It is sitting over at the tower that would most likely service 1033 Townsend Boulevard.
Okay. And then the next data point that you have for that phone in slide 16, where is that phone now?
It's sitting off this tower here in this area, right below Arlington Hills.
Mr. DeCoste asked you on cross-examination that you did not map anything for the 1595 number in this relevant time period. You can't say where that number was.
I did not map it, no, sir.
Okay. But you've reviewed the records, right?
Correct.
So let's look at the call records here. So start on. This is the page we started with the call records, right? Page 1.
Yes, sir.
There's one call here at about 11:02. Does that phone connect to a tower, that call?
No, sir.
Okay. Why would a phone not connect to a tower when somebody tries to call it?
It could be off. It could be, again, there could be things disrupting its connection to the network. Most likely it's generally when it's off.
Okay. And then we already talked about it down here, but we have data sessions going to about 7:11 a.m.
Correct.
and then nothing else until,
Yeah, sustained.
when is the next time that we have data sessions?
1:10:44 PM.
Nothing between those two times? Is there anything between those two times?
There is not.
And then this, what is this page?
This is the SMS records.
Okay, so like text messages?
Yes, sir.
Are any of these connecting to a tower?
No, sir.
Why would a phone not receive SMS text messages?
Most likely explanation is because all these events are incoming, that the phone is off.
Mr. DeCoste asked you to map a point at 1:10 in the afternoon on the north side from the AT&T records. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
And your testimony earlier was that you don't feel comfortable because the AT&T records are only 95 to 98% accurate.
Again, there were known anomalies within the AT&T records at that time, which caused us to choose not to map those records.
But for Mr. DeCoste, you just took this latitude and longitude and plugged it into Google Maps.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
All right, so let's do it a couple more times. Let's start at line 27. So that's 1:15:20, and that's at 5:18 in the morning.
That's correct.
And again, these are for the 1595 records, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is our latitude and longitude here.
Of the tower used. Yes, sir.
All right. So that's 30.34257 and minus 81541978, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if I type that in, 30.4257, 4257.
Objection, Your Honor.
The grounds?
The expert could plot these.
Okay.
Judge, I'm not doing anything differently than Mr. DeCoste did. I can ask the expert to come up here and map them himself if the court would like.
All right. He can do that, or yes, then he will have to because he doesn't have a laptop to do it here. But be sure, agent, when you go to that device, you speak loudly into the microphone so that the court reporter and I can hear you and that the jury can hear you. All right. You are free to reposition yourself to the evidence cart. And both counsel are free to reposition themselves to also view what is occurring.
Okay, so line 27, I got notepad, paper, line 27, if you can map that for us. Got it there. Okay, so we're about at 295 or so at that point in the morning?
Yes, sir.
And that's,
Objection, leading.
All right, re-ask your question.
where is he at that point in the morning?
He is right near 295 and Monument Road. Well, I'm sorry, the tower is located, that was used for that data session at that location.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask you to map number 29 for me. the number that you meant?
Objection, counsel and the witness.
Is that the number that
Objection,
you meant?
counsel and the witness.
I'm sorry, what? I haven't heard anything. What are you saying?
Here it over here. We can approach sidebar.
Just asked him if that's the number that he mapped.
All right. I don't think we need to approach sidebar, but let the witness go ahead and map the coordinates.
So what you just mapped was number 29.
Correct.
That's at 5:33:19 Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
And that is approximately where? Here.
Yeah, near 212 and Ryer Road. I'm not familiar with Jacksonville enough to say what area that is.
Okay. Can you see here on the screen where it says Hogan Road?
Yes.
Okay. And going back to your PowerPoint, here at 5:26 in the morning, where was the 624-3684 number and the 702-918-4911 number?
Appears to be in the same general area.
Okay, the same area?
Sir.
Now I'm going to ask you to map number 40. And that's at about 5:55 a.m.
6:55 a.m.
Sorry, 6:55 a.m. Okay. And zooming in a little bit, see where it says Palm Lake Drive here,
I do. Yes, sir.
kind of at the 295, 95 interchange up on the north side?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to go back to the other records, and that was all for the 1595 number, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The 478-305-9583. Looking here at about, is that 6:17 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
6:22 a.m.?
Sir.
What time is it at 3:19?
Just a moment. What was the objection?
I'll rephrase.
Okay.
In line 319 at 6:52 a.m., what is the address of the tower for the 5983 records?
9583 records are at 12035 Palm Lake Drive.
Okay, and will you map that for us? But will you show the distance between the last one and this one? So based on the AT&T records, the 1595 number is about in the same area as the 478 number that you just mapped,
Correct.
around the same time. And then again, at what time does it appear to you that the 1595 number is powered off based on the records?
Objection, mischaracterization of the testimony was powered off.
Well, I could pause that dry testimony. Shout out to film. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Would you be trying for number one? You always number one in my heart. I don't know what you're talking about. You don't have to try for number one. You say Zach is holding his number one status. Uh-uh. Zach out doing some old other stuff. He out doing other things today. He'll come back trying to steal his spot. Yeah, you don't even have to worry about that. You always number one, but we gonna stop this old dry testimony that he talking about. Don't worry, guys. I do have the Ali up. Um, they haven't started over there, so just so y'all, they should be today, Rachel. Closing and jury instructions. I'm just trying to see if they're gonna be doing this commercial stuff like they did last week, because it do look like it's coming in kind of weird to feed. To let me know if we need to make sure we have some TiVo time, so we don't have to worry about all of that. But right now, it's still not. Libby 22 said, "Nah, she need to be number one." I don't know. I got you, Libby. I got you. That comes in says $50, 500 and then bounces. Yeah, that's exactly what he did, Rachel. He said he'll be back. Go, Libby girl. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You number one. Hey, I can have multiple number ones, right? You say it worked. You number one now. I know. I tell you, because they say being number two don't even matter, but I don't know. I don't know. Some people enjoy being number two, right? They forget about number two and three, right? Shout out to Libby FM. Thank you so very, very much. You say, yep, you got your crown. Girl, get that crown. Place it on. Keep it together. Right? Let's see. Let's go to our I guess it's our dry testimony. But I do got you say you don't mind being two or three. All right. His old dry testimony. Like I said, I do got the Ali up, so we will go into our other room as soon as that starts. Uh-oh. Look at therapist. Therapist said, no. Wait a minute. Hold up. Stop the press. She said she double all of that. Thank you. You prefer number one? Yeah, it look like it's worn out. I don't know what's that gonna do when he come back. He gonna come back and ask. He gonna come back and ask what's going on. Because I thought we will be here, right? We will be here. Wait a minute, I just seen some movement in the courtroom. What time is it? 9:14. So I have our Ali scheduled for 10. I do see movement in the courtroom. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to. Okay, so it looked like they kind of loudings. Yeah, they're kind of going through the It looked like they going through something with the charges of the jury instructions still, to be honest, guys. From the little earpiece that I got. So, I'm trying to get my thoughts together to see. Well, I'm gonna let them go and see what they have. We won't miss a minute of it. We'll go back over there. We'll go into the Ali trial, once at 10 o'clock, because I'll keep it for 10. Yeah, Baka, it looks like that's what the judge is. And when she talk about numbers and stuff like that, and when I just peeked in there, it sounds like they may still be kind of like hashing out some of that details. Yeah, we'll go over there and listen to the jury instructions, because I know a lot of people wanted to find out how the burglary kind of like applied and how each charge is, what their finalization was going to be on those, and definitely the closing arguments, and then we'll be in verdict watch. So yeah, we'll go over there at 10 o'clock, and worst case scenario, we'll just have some T-ball time, and then we'll come back over here, and maybe there'll be a lunch over here with the current trial that we doing right now. They probably will be in lunch. I'm assuming, or close to going to lunch. So then we'll just come back and do the afternoon. Okay, awesome. Let me go ahead and put us back in court. That way we can finish up where we're at here.
That it no longer is reporting any data files, or phone calls, or text messages.
There appears to be no activity between 7:11 a.m. Eastern Time and 1:10 p.m. Eastern Time.
Thank you. You can take your seat. Special Agent, based on the mapping that you just did in front of the jury here, is it your opinion that the 1595 phone is in this area around the same time, about 5:30 in the morning?
Yes, sir.
And is it your opinion that it is then up near that Eastport Road at about approximately 6 a.m. that morning?
Yes, sir.
And then it is, or I guess 6:55, we said.
Yes, sir.
And then your opinion is that the phone is no longer, the 1595 number is no longer reporting any more data from 7:10 a.m. until 1 something in the afternoon.
Yeah, I think it was a 7:11 a.m. to 1:10 p.m.
But that the 1595 phone is in the same Eastport area as the 478 number around that time zone.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Okay, may this witness be excused? All right, thank you, sir. You're excused and free to go.
Oh, cool. He's been excused and free to go. Yeah, for some reason I got to figure out how to get. I don't know if it's connected.
All right, State, you may call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor, if it pleases the court,
Like, Virginia.
State will call Shalonda.
Miss Adams, please.
Okay, so they calling Shalonda Adams to the stand. Let's see what she's got to say. Who is she? Yeah, and it's so funny because they was texting
All right, ma'am, if you'll come forward and be sworn.
the kids too. You know, those never good ones to get. Okay,
All right, be sure to speak loudly, clearly, and closely into those two microphones. State, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Adams. Please introduce yourself to both juries.
My name is Shalonda Adams.
What do you do for a living?
I work for Jacksonville Sheriff's Office as a latent print examiner.
How long have you worked for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office?
I worked there for 19 years.
Go ahead.
4 years with the latent print unit as a latent print examiner and 15 years in identification unit as a fingerprint technician.
So explain to the jury your progression through the Sheriff's Office. What do you do in ID and records? And then I guess you were promoted to be a latent print examiner. Explain that to the jury.
In ID and records, that's where we were trained to read and classify fingerprints. And after that, I moved up to the latent print examiner's office to where we have to process evidence based off of, fingerprints off of evidence.
And are you one of the supervisors in that unit?
Yes.
Explain to the jury what training and you receive from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office that allows you to come into courts like this and testify.
Well, we do online courses, we attend classes, and then we also go to conferences where we also have annual testing.
Is that referred to as proficiency examinations?
Yes, it is.
Explain to the jury how that's accomplished.
It's just submitted to us every year through the state.
So we'll explain a little bit more detail. Like, do they give you known and unknown samples and you have to either identify or not identify, things like that?
There are unknown samples that we have to identify.
And during the course of your 19 years, did you receive mentorship from the latent print examiners that were employed at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office?
Yes,
Do you watch what they do and kind of follow in their footsteps?
yes.
Explain the science of fingerprint examination.
You said the science of fingerprint examinations as to,
Well, like, it's obviously, I think the jury's familiar with the concept that fingerprints are unique. Is that true?
that's true.
So how does an examiner go about looking at unknown fingerprints and determining whether they match or do not match somebody?
You have to look at the different characteristics in each fingerprint with the minutia, the delta. It's the characteristics of the fingerprints that you have to be aware of and have to look at the similarities in that.
And how long has this science been accepted universally in our world?
I don't know exactly how long it goes back.
At least for the 19 years that you've
Yes.
been in the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
That's correct.
And have you been allowed to testify in courts like this about your opinion about whether an unknown print matches a known print?
Yes.
All right, this time I would tender the witness as an expert in the field of latent print examination.
Any additional questioning from Defendant Whitaker?
No, Your Honor.
And from Defendant Robinson?
Oh, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed.
So explain to the jury what a latent print is.
A latent print is a chance impression. It's an unintentional print that's left on the items after touching at the direct contact.
And how does a print get left behind? What's the mechanism?
Just by touching the item.
Is there anything in your body that you leave behind that makes it more or less likely for a latent print to be left behind?
Yes, like the sweat glands and the oil in your fingerprints.
Okay, and that's kind of what you're leaving behind is the oils of your body.
Yes.
Are there things that can interfere with the ability of a latent print to be left behind?
Yes, if you're wearing gloves, if your hands are too sweaty, if they're too dry, and then like the surface material of the item.
So it can be from the person leaving the latent print, meaning gloves, too sweaty, things like that, too dry.
Yes,
And also it can interfere with the object itself.
yes.
Explain that, how the object itself can interfere with leaving behind a latent print.
It just depends on if the object is rusty or if it's dirty, then it won't pick up the friction rigid details in your fingers.
Does the nature of the surface, like smooth versus rough, play a factor?
Yes, it does.
How does that play a factor?
The rough surfaces, you won't be able to leave a fingerprint, but the smooth surfaces is more likely a chance you will.
How are latent prints, let me ask you this, are there environmental factors if a latent print is left behind that can interfere with the latent print's recovery?
Yes, it is environmental factors like the humidity, if it's left outside, if it's not in a controlled environment.
Like rain,
Yes,
heat?
yes,
What about wiping it?
yes, correct.
So all those things you've described for the jury, what is there a mechanism and techniques that you use or people in the field use like crime scene detectives to preserve and enhance latent fingerprints?
Yes, probably like the chemical processing that we use when we look at fingerprints to determine if it's fingerprints on the item.
So for example, the jury may be familiar with something called black powder, where you take a brush and
Yes,
is that a common technique used in your field?
yes, it is.
What are some of the other ones, specifically, what are the ones that were used in this case?
In this case, we use rhodamine.
Say that again?
Rhodamine,
All right, explain that.
fluorescent dye stain. So once you actually, after the item is processed, you apply the rhodamine to the item and it dries. And then once you look at it under the alternate light source, the rhodamine, it flashes fluorescence. The fingerprint comes up fluorescent.
How was this item that we're going to talk about and say, how was it processed before you did that?
You said, how is it processed? Through a super glue chamber.
All right, that's why. So how does super glue help forensic analysts look at fingerprints?
It's a chamber that you apply super glue, you apply water. Once it heats up, it forms a gas. That gas goes over the actual items, and where it's a fingerprint residue, that gas sits on top of that item. And then that's what the fluorescent dye stain comes in next.
So did you do, or a fellow latent print examiner do the super glue?
A fellow examiner,
Okay.
yes.
And is it common for latent print examiners to follow each other in cases?
Yes,
And in this case, there were 2 prior latent print examiners, both of which have retired.
yes,
So you were the third.
yes.
Ms. Adams, if I could just ask to you to sit a little closer to the microphone, a request has been made that you're speaking a little softly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So going back to, did you perform your own independent examination of the item in this case?
Yes, I did.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes,
May I continue to approach without asking?
yes.
I'm showing you it's been introduced into evidence. This case is at 205. Do you recognize this object?
Yes, I do.
And is it your initials on the firearm as well as your prior print examiner's initials on this item?
Yes, it is.
And because of that, was a photograph taken of the latent print that was discovered on this item?
Yes.
So both juries can see it. Is that notated on the firearm in such a way so we can know where the latent print came from?
Yes, it should be a scale that's listed, that's next to the fingerprint.
And in this particular case, let's see, if I tilt it just right. Is that the scale you're talking about?
Yes,
Adams? Okay. And so that would indicate that the latent fingerprint was discovered on the slide of the firearm?
yes,
Is that portion of the firearm smooth?
yes, it is.
Is it common in your training experience to examine firearms in that particular location for latent prints?
Yes,
As opposed to the handle, which is rough?
correct.
Makes sense. Okay. And was a photograph taken of that?
Yes, it was.
Showing you what's pre-marked as State's Exhibit 9J for identification. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes,
And is there notation on the back of that photograph?
yes, it is.
And does this fairly and accurately represent the latent print photograph taken from the slide of 205?
Yes,
What do you do with that latent print that you take? Do you put it under the microscope?
yes.
How do you do the comparison? Explain that for the
But a comparison was, it was a manual comparison that was done.
Okay, explain how you do that to the jury.
But that comparison was done based on the fingerprints that was taken in court from the known standards. And that was compared to the actual photograph.
And so you came to court and took Hakeem Robinson's known prints.
Yes,
And I'm showing you what's been pre-marked as State's 9I for identification. Is that you?
yes, it is.
And you took the fingerprints of Hakeem Robinson?
Yes,
Was this counsel present? Remember that?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you see Mr. Robinson here in court?
Yes, I do.
And could you say where he's seated and what he's wearing?
A tan suit, the back far row, in the center.
I'm sorry. May the record request the witnesses identified the defendant.
Okay, the record shall so reflect.
Your Honor, at this time I would introduce into evidence the pre-marked exhibits as they're pre-numbered.
Okay, so that's 9A and 9J.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection from Defendant Whitaker? Any objection from Defendant Robinson?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, without objection, 9I will be marked into evidence as States Exhibit 217. 9J shall be marked into evidence as States Exhibit 218.
And so latent print examiner Adams, when you take the latent photograph print taken from 205, the firearm, and Hakeem Robinson's known prints, what was the opinion you were able to make?
They were a match.
A perfect match. Your Honor, that's all the questions I have.
Okay, any cross-exam from Mr. Whitaker? All right, any cross-exam from Mr. Robinson?
Morning, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. 1 second to get organized here. Let's talk about fingerprints. This firearm that has a fingerprint on it, can you say when that print was placed on there?
No, sir.
Could have been days,
Could have been.
could have been weeks,
It could have been.
could have been months.
Could have been.
In your expertise, do you have any way? I can use the Elmo.
Yes?
Use this. Document camera. All. Photograph from your evidence. Sure. Now, ma'am, do you have any way of saying that my client, who this is one of his many music videos, whether he touched one of his friend's firearms in that music video?
You said, do I have a way of saying?
So let me re-ask that question.
That was a poor question. You have this firearm, it's found inside of a vehicle on January 15th, 2020. Do you have any evidence that disproves that my client's fingerprint was placed on the firearm in a music video weeks or months prior?
No.
Now, were you asked to reevaluate any prints taken from a vehicle?
The only prints I was asked to reevaluate was from that item.
All right. So, for example, if I happen to have been in a four-door vehicle, right?
Mhm.
I've been in it, maybe for an hour, sitting maybe in the front passenger seat or the rear passenger seat. I'm getting in and out of the vehicle, standard vehicle, it's got handles that I got to open. If I'm rolling down the window, if I'm putting on a seatbelt, if I'm opening the door, closing the door, that has a potential of leaving fingerprints, correct?
Correct.
Like, for example, this podium, if you were asked to evaluate this podium after I do the cross-examination, there's a very good chance there could be prints on this because it's a surface that's good for leaving prints.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Things like glass, metal, and plastic are also good for leaving prints, right?
Yes, correct.
You weren't asked to evaluate if my client's fingerprints were lifted off of a vehicle that was used in this case, were you?
No, I wasn't.
One brief moment, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Is there any redirect?
No, Your Honor, and this witness may be excused.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You are excused and free to go.
Thank you.
Okay, and we moving right along, right? They want to. Taking lunch. Okay, so they are taking lunch, which is fine. I guess if we were on time and I wasn't talking so much earlier today, we could have went right into the Ali trial right on time, right? But that's okay. Because y'all know That's okay. That's okay. All right, so let's do this. Give me a second. I am going to go ahead and open up the room for our Ali trial, and we gonna go over there and see what kind of stuff they doing over there, right? Let me enter. We are starting our first round of our musical chairs. Please don't get lost in the sauce, right? No, that's nice. I come right in and there's a message from somebody talking about something. I'm going to delete their comment. That way it doesn't have to start our feed off with some old mess over there. I told you, like, these people, everybody is like really. Yeah, that's right, Libby. Yes, which is nice. You say looking for jeans. Yeah, and I think it's just the opposite. I hate being 5'2" and looking for jeans. I be walking all on the bottoms of them. They be all ripped up. Right? Okay. So here is the link for us to go back in. This is our link so we can go and watch our Ali jury instructions, hopefully, and closing arguments and get us into verdict watch. So I am going to put that in the chat. And if you guys want to start heading over there, I'll go ahead and open that completely up. I'm going to close this one. I'm going to close this down. We'll just do it in 2 parts. I'll make up another alert, another room for it. Some mess that I'll figure out to do behind the scenes to keep everything clean. Woohoo! I see people are making it over, right? And then we'll come back over to the coverage for the Ksoo trial once they're back from lunch. Okay, guys. See you over there. And we'll be back with the Ksoo trial after lunch. Will Dad testify against his son today? Or are they going to have to bring in his pre-recorded interrogation videos? We shall see.